All right. What's going on, everybody? Let's get started. Thank you all so much for being here. Please like and share. See you guys in a few minutes. Peace out. All right. All right, let's get it, y'all. What's going on? Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. How's it going, everybody? How y'all doing at this 2:30 p.m. live stream coming at you live from the porch over here in Buffalo, New York, talking AI, talking current events, doing the usual little Ewok shuffle. But today we're gonna get a little help from our AI chatbot. Our AI girlfriend's gonna come in and lend us some hands, dog. AI, Jerry is Bitcoin. That's right, dude. Little known fact, I actually am Bitcoin. I am one full Bitcoin. That's how valuable I am. That's how much value I bring to the table. One full Bitcoin of value. What's going on, everybody? Wanted to get to it when I could today. It's a hot afternoon here in Buffalo, New York. I have a fan right next to me, so please, guys, let me know if that sound is coming over the microphone. Please don't let me sabotage the entire show with my fan. I want to be a little cool today, but I don't want to ruin the show for it. So please let me know if that ends up becoming an issue. I checked the audio beforehand, and it seemed like it was all right. So hopefully that won't be an issue. And yeah, guys, what's going on, y'all? I'm going to be taking a little bit of audience participation today, if possible. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to be messing around with ChatGPT a little bit. I've been messing around with it, and I got the premium $20 a month, whatever, so we could use it a little bit more before they try and shut me down, before they try and censor my ChatGPT participation. And I'm going to be talking a little bit further on what we were speaking about for the last two shows. Hey, Jer and chat, I have really good news. My best friend and I have been discussing orthodoxy for the last year or so. Since I became a catechumen, I found a Rokor parish. Nice, dude. Glory to God, bro. That is awesome. Yeah, we're seeing so many new Orthodox converts, so many new catechumens, so many new baptized and chrismated Orthodox Christians joining the church, joining the fight, and it's a beautiful thing. I was talking to our homie John Connor the other day, and he told me something like a new statistic came out where it was like 6 million new converts in America. I couldn't believe it, dude. 6 million. I was like, what's going on with that number, bro? It sounds a little high. Where'd you get that number? But he said, no, for real, 6 million. And then I saw an article talking about that very number. So, whenever I hear that number, my eyebrow goes up and I go, I don't know about that, but, sounds like Zionist BS to me. But glory to God if it's even close to that number. Glory to God. 2 out of 2. That he has, okay, so became a catechumen. I found a Rocore parish that he has agreed to come visit with me tonight. Glory to God, brother. Please pray for Zachary that he becomes illumined and wants to return. Absolutely. Please, everybody, pray for Zachary and our homie Randy West here. And, that's the amazing thing about the church and about the grace of God is that the liturgy is just so full of the grace of God that it really doesn't take much work from us. If you can just get people through the door, I mean, the battle is half won in terms of at least introducing them to the church, introducing them to Christ. And so, it's all in God's hands, and glory to God, dude. I'm really happy that your buddies agreed to come, and good work, brother. Good work. 1 second, I gotta itch my ear. All right, so before I start ranting, I just want to make a couple things clear. Been having some conversations with people behind the scenes and stuff, and I unfortunately have to put this little caveat in here because of the situation today in the world, and civil discourse has become harder and harder to have lately on the topics of politics and current events and all of this stuff. It's so difficult to have a civil conversation with people. They automatically just assume that it's like a fight. And I've been talking a lot about this politics stuff because I want to have the conversation because I've got, feelings and opinions on it and perspectives on it. And I desire conversation. I desire alternative perspective, alternative viewpoints, right? All I'm doing, who am I? I'm just some slow boy retard. Like, I'm just bringing my perspective to the table and trying to say, hey, what about this, this, and this? And the few times that I've tried, discussing it with people in the past, I've gotten all sorts of different reactions. And I've noticed a lot of negativity and a lot of hostility and a lot of combativeness immediately right off the jump. It's like, rah, and I understand why the situation is the way it is. I understand how we've gotten here. For the last 8 years, things have been so polarized. Things have been so militant in terms of the two opposing sides. But you don't have to fall into one or the other categories. You don't have to fall into left camp or right camp. Republican, Democrat. This is so childish. Like, all I'm trying to do is bring up sort of opinions and perspectives, and I always hope that people who disagree will discuss. And please, forgive my crazy hair. It's so hot out here, dude. That's why I'm not wearing my work hat. Let me readjust this so I don't look like the meth head on the... All right. And it's like I was having a conversation with one of our good homies, a beloved brother in Christ yesterday, in one of our group chats, and he was like, you could tell he was like a little nervous to sort of share an opposing viewpoint, and I'm like, bro, you don't ever have to feel worried about like disagreeing with me, dude. I'm an idiot. Like, I want people to disagree. I want the conversation to be had, right? I'm sharing sort of my perspective on it. And I'm not going to like jump down your throat if you've got a different opinion than me. We all have sort of lived through the same rigmarole, the same as I call it the other day, the emotional roller coaster in America. We've all lived through this, and many of us have been on the exact same path, dude. We're all Orthodox Christians. We're all, pretty well learned on the subjects of geopolitics, American politics, the deep state, all of these things. And so we all have some value that we bring to the table. I think one of the things that are valuable about what I do here is that unlike most YouTube channels, I'm not really on the grind, so to speak. This channel is not about growth. I've got to create my own little cult of personality where people agree. I got to make sure people agree with most everything I say. Like, I'm okay with saying things that are going to get people to unsubscribe, that are going, just like all this stuff I've been talking about with Trump. When I said, okay, I'm going to vote for Trump, I think people should vote for Trump, I knew a bunch of people were going to unsubscribe. That's why I posted the other day of a super clip of a bunch of, Trump roasting edits or whatever, because I knew, but people are going to unsubscribe, and I kind of like to stir the pot, I guess, a little bit in that way. But I know people are going to unsubscribe. I know people are going to disagree, and I know people are going to make all sorts of assumptions based on just the fact that I am taking the position that I am. That's okay. That's okay, because at the end of the day, what I've learned throughout my life and throughout my life experiences is that one person discussing something with another person creates a ripple effect. It actually matters. People, this is one of those truths they don't want you to know about, right? Like that stupid cringe meme. Natural cures they don't want you to know about. Dietitians hate this man because he knows 10 secrets to losing weight. Da 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 da. All this stuff. But there is like something that I think that the rulers of this world don't want you to know about, and it's the fact that you do have power as an individual. What you do actually does matter, and what you think, what you say, and how you act really does matter. Awesome Lawson Clip says, I might unsub if you don't button that shirt up. I'm trying to keep it closed up, but it is freaking hot, dude. I'm not trying to tempt anybody to lust over the Iceman, but it is really hot. So I'm very sorry. Let me try to lift the camera a little bit. How about that? Is that better? I'm writing in Jethro for president. Glory to God, bro. Awesome. Let's get him in there, guys. Let's get our boy in there. No, but there's a difference between having an impact and clout, right? And you can sort of push the channel and grind the channel as hard as you can to try to gain clout, or you can do kind of what I'm doing, which is I'm just trying to talk. I'm trying to be a part of the conversation, to add my perspective, because it does actually create a ripple effect, right? If it's something that I sort of noticed when I was in high school, where you'd have an idea or an opinion, or you'd think something that you hadn't heard somebody say before, and then you'd go and vocalize it to somebody, and then 2-3 weeks later, from a totally different source, you hear the same thing then told to you, and you're like, whoa, what is that, right? It's kind of like that idea of different technologies being discovered generally the same time in different parts of the world, right? There's something about ideas, and there's something about consciousness that it does we are sort of linked together. And as an Orthodox Christian, I think that comes from the fact that we're all made in the image of God. We all bear the icon of Christ, and we are all linked together as humanity. We're all exist in relation to one another, and we are united in a certain sense, by our humanity. And so my goal, a lot of times when I'm doing these kind of videos, is not so much to gain subscribers, to gain clout, to try to get it bigger. Obviously, if the channel gets successful, if it grows, that's awesome. I'm happy. I want to see that happen. But my main thing is I want to actually have the conversation. I want to present ideas, and I want to try to encourage people to think in different ways and to sort of analyze things from different perspectives. In one hand, we do that with Orthodox Christianity. We're trying to, boost the signal of the church in this country and all across the world, since YouTube is international. We're trying to encourage people to seek the truth, seek Christ, look more into church history and into the Orthodox Church, and also on other worldly matters, things like this political nonsense we're seeing happening right now. A lot of the conversations I've had behind the scenes have revolved, like yesterday I was talking to our dear brother in Christ, and he said something about Zionism. And he's like, I like the videos you've been doing. They're balanced, and I appreciate your perspective, but I disagree. And I think that, what did he say? He said something, Israel's a big deal to me, basically. And I said, yes, same here. Same here. I'm not an Israel supporter. That is a big deal to me, right? But at the same time, no matter what president we have, they're going to support Israel. Like, just period, point blank period. The establishment gets their candidate in, they're going to support Israel. And they're probably going to give them a crap ton of money, and they're going to fund a bunch of wars, and they're going to probably put our country into a giant global conflict. Trump obviously supports Israel. That's not a secret. That's not some hidden thing. He takes pictures with Netanyahu. He wore the yarmulke and went kissed the wall. He did all that stuff, right? And so if I say, "Hey, I'm voting for Trump. I think he's the better candidate," then all of a sudden I'm like an Israel supporter. That's not how this works, guys. Like, I've made a post about it where I said, this isn't the biggest issue right now, right? At the end of the day, like, I have very strong feelings on Israel. I have very strong feelings about what our country should do in a perfect scenario. We shouldn't be giving money to other countries to fund their militaries. We shouldn't be policing the world, all that stuff. We're all on the same page. But if we don't have a country, it's not really going to make much of a difference, right? I mean, if they completely topple America as we know it today, if they're able to entrench themselves to a point where they have total control, then what your opinions are literally not going to matter pretty much at all when it comes to the way the government and the way that our system makes decisions. And then the conversation went to, well, I think they have total control. I don't have faith in democracy, and I'm pretty cynical, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the same way, right? I flip flop on the cynicism many times. Many days, I'm more cynical, and then many days I'm more hopeful. But my hope is not in democracy. I don't have hope in democracy. I have hope that God will grant us more time as a people. Maybe they'll topple our country and they'll institute their global government, and basically, the battle of Armageddon is nigh. Or maybe it's not going to happen for another 1,000 years. And if God wants to stop it, he's going to use people. He's going to use us. He's going to grant victory to those fighting it, or he's going to grant victory to our enemies. It's really that simple in my eyes. And so this idea that, well, I'm cynical, so I just, throw my hands up. I've tried to be very vocal against that. I think that that's an excuse. That's a sort of laziness, or that's a sort of coming from fear. This sort of I don't have any hope. I'm cynical. That's not a virtue, and I think we all can agree on that. Cynicism is not a virtue. Being jaded is not a good thing. There's no reason for us to feel that way. And to finish off that sort of conversation, about total control. I think they really have worked hard to get us to think that way. In their movies, in Hollywood, in the media, with all of the sort of psyops that they've pulled over us, with all these different things, they've really pushed home this idea that they have total control, that they have, there's no fighting them, there's no opposing them, there's no monkey wrenching them. They've entrenched themselves in the bureaucracies. They've got control of the military and of the police force and of all of these different things, and so it's hopeless. Give up, don't fight. And I think that that's just a lie. Just one more lie of many other lies that they give us, that they have control, certainly, of a lot of these tools, but they don't have total control. And I think if you just look around you, I mean, how many people do you know in your own personal life, if you're an American, who are like good people, decent people? They got, they know how to shoot, they know how to hunt. They're fairly self-sufficient. Maybe not as much as their grandfathers were, but they're good dudes, and they have a value system. They have a line that they won't cross, right? They have an understanding of truth. I think that just that alone, and the fact that we do have a system which, if it runs correctly, those people can have a voice. If the votes are counted correctly, whatever. Say what you will about democracy. I'm not a pro-democracy guy. But at the very least, like, they have a voice, and the system can run somewhat like it's supposed to. Not perfectly, obviously, not even close. And I'm in agreement with most of the people here where we sort of say democracy sort of is designed to end up in a situation like we have now. It's sort of designed to end up in a shadow oligarchy, in a system where the people who control the information, who have the money, will basically sort of have a advantage over the common people. I think we're in agreement there, but the fact that there are still people that are in the Congress or whatever who will even question the FBI director, who will even demand certain answers, things like that, I think that's a good sign, and I think that shows that they don't have total control. They still have the assumption that they have to explain themselves. They still have this sort of assumption that they have to answer to the people. They're trying to destroy this system right now. They're trying to level the American system right now to replace it with their globalist construct. I think we're all in agreement on that. If they had total control, they wouldn't be trying to level that system, right? I think they want to institute a system where they're basically gods. They're basically unseen, behind the curtain. They have total control. We have no recourse. They can do what they want. We won't even know who's doing it to us, and we will have no say in it. Eat the bugs, live in the pod, all of this stuff. That may very well be our future. It may not be our future, meaning us today in this society. But certainly having a cynical view or having a hopeless view of it is not a good thing, and it's not a helpful thing. And for me, looking at the situation right now in American politics, it seems pretty obvious to me, as I've said before, that one of the candidates is presenting an opposition as best as they can to the entrenched political establishment. That's my opinion. That's how I see it. And I welcome people who disagree. I welcome discourse with people who see it differently. If you want to unsubscribe, that's fine. But talk to me. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think. And I wish we had, like, you know, callers and people that see it a different way. People are who they are. And the fact is that the people up on that stage, on this world stage, on this political stage, are human beings, and they're not perfect. And I just try to tell people, put yourself in their shoes and realize how difficult it would be to always make the correct choice, always do the right thing that people like us who are very much looking at it under a microscope and inspecting every single thing, to always do something that would please those people, right? Let's take Israel, for example, and let's look at Donald Trump as a person. Do you expect him to support Palestine? Do you expect somebody like that, somebody with the boomer mindset, with the Fox News watching mindset of like seeing Israel, seeing Palestine? Which one should you got to support somebody? You got to support somebody. So who's it going to be? He's obviously not going to support Palestine. Like, obviously. You know what I mean? You can't expect him to. Even though I, as an Orthodox Christian, I detest Israel. I think Israel is just an absolutely demonic, you know, nation and demonic government. I think the religion of Judaism is basically just a place for demon worshippers. They take the books of the prophets and they claim to be the religion of those holy men, and yet they reject the God that they prophesied, that they spoke for on behalf of. Like, that's how it doesn't get more demonic than that, right? At the same time, like, he is who he is, right? He's going to make the decisions, and you can sort of see it for what it is. It's like, this is some freaking boomer who's like, I got to pick a side, and I think that this is the side that most benefits America, most benefits my campaign, most benefits my constituents. It gives me the best chance of winning. And he's also, though, opposed to us funding billions of dollars to Ukraine and funding billions of dollars to topple, you know, governments in other nations. Which one's better? You know, which one is more aligned in what we want to see happen? You know, that's the way I sort of look at this stuff, where it's like, I don't have this sort of perfectionist mindset where I expect him to do what I want him to do. I have this way of looking at it where I'm like, he's going to do what he's going to do. Our homie Maddie, Digital Minefield, was doing a stream yesterday, and he was talking about that horrific video of the old lady getting shot by that Norse pagan cop or whatever. Jason Scholl told me he had some Norse pagan tattoos. I know a lot of our audience here right now was there at that stream. And he was talking about how Trump came out and basically said he wanted, what was it, immunity for cops, immunity from prosecution. And it's just like, oh my gosh, dude. I made a comment where I was like, he can't go a day without saying something retarded. He literally can't go a day without just having a terrible take, without saying something absolutely absurd and idiotic. And yet you can see why he would say that. You can see why he would have that position. Because he sits there and he watches Fox News and he watches the Republican conservative boomer sort of news. And he goes, oh, defund the police. San Francisco is a hellhole. San Francisco is just filled with crime. People are robbing Rite Aids. Rite Aids are going bankrupt now and are going to close because they're just getting strong-armed robbery every day. We got to give our power back to our police. I'm going to pass a law. They're going to be immune from prosecution so they can do their jobs. A horrible, horrible idea that like a dummy could see. It's a bad idea. But you can see why he would think that. You could see why he would come to that conclusion. because he's not some political scholar. He's not some expert in law. He's literally just a dude, an American dude, for better or for worse. And as sad as that is, that that's the option that we have to oppose the entrenched political establishment, the deep state, the globalists, that's what we got. And if we can oppose them in this country, if we can extend the life, the the time of life for our country, for our nation, for our national sovereignty as an individual nation, the most important, the most powerful, the most influential nation on the planet, we can then grow in a better way. We can grow as a people. Hopefully in 4 years, 8 years, we have a bigger impact on the nation as the Orthodox Church. We have more pious people in the world and more awake, more aware, more adult people in the world. We can have a better person as a representative. Probably not. Probably not. It'll probably get worse, if the trend continues the way it is. But it's not a given. It's not a guarantee. It's not something that's automatic. And I think it's foolish for us to act like it is. I think you're really giving them way too much power, and you're really ensuring their plots succeed. If we believe the lie they're spinning to us, that they have all the power and that we have none, that their success gained through illicit means, through cheating, through lying, through manipulation, is guaranteed, then it is guaranteed. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And at the end of the day, as Christians, we know, yeah, this world's never going to be a utopia. Yeah, we're never going to get a perfect system. We're never going to get, Jesus Christ for president. But it can still be better than what they want it to be. It doesn't have to be a horrific tyranny where, we're led by people that we don't even know their names, and they basically have a top-down government, a top-down power structure where they basically just tell us what we're going to do and what we're going to accept, and we say yes or go to the gulag. That's obviously the system they want, and I think that it's really foolish for us, whether you're Christian or not Christian, to just accept it and stay out of the way and say, okay, well, if God wants to stop it, God's gonna stop it. Yeah, he's gonna stop it by helping the people that are fighting it. That's how he's gonna stop it. He's not gonna come down, bodily and then say, get out the way. Not that he couldn't do that, but I think we all know that's not how he works. He works through us. Pretending they're a monolith is how creeps like Adam Green invert the truth. Exactly. They're literally pushing out lies and manipulation all day, every day, to try to manipulate you, to try to coerce you, to try to get you to do what they want. That's the point, right? So it's frustrating. It's frustrating that because I'm, frankly, because I'm bold enough to come out and say something that I know is going to be unpopular amongst our circle, that people just automatically assume, oh, okay, so then you're like the Trump guy. Like, no, I'm not. I'm literally pragmatically telling you, like, it's pretty obvious that he's opposed to the globalists. Like, it's pretty friggin' obvious. And it's funny because a lot of the people that will come to me and say, oh, dude, he's just New World Order, puppet show, WWF, they don't actually pay attention to it. They've written it off completely, so they don't watch the speeches, they don't watch the interviews, they don't pay attention to policies, they don't actually look at it at all. It's just an assumption. It's just they've already made up their mind. Like, I'm paying attention way closer than any of the people who are coming to me and trying to tell me what I believe or what they believe. And it's like, dude, you don't even pay attention to this stuff. Like, you're talking about a guy. I've been sitting here watching the dude's speeches, watching the dude's interviews, because I find it so fascinating, because I want to know. You guys seen me on Digital Minefield, 3-4 weeks ago, and I was at that cynical point where I was like, dude, this guy's controlled opposition. I was just so fed up with the whole thing, like most of us are. And so that's my point, is I just hope that people will not make assumptions about where I come from, because we're in the same boat. If you're sitting here going, it's WWF, there's no hope, it's all fake, understand that, like, we're in the same boat, dude. Like, I came from the same place, but I'm just trying to bring my perspective to the table. As somebody that does follow this very closely, as somebody that does pay attention very closely to what he says, to what he does, right? I see the problems. I see the obvious sus stuff. And I'm just telling you, as a slow boy who just has his own opinion, Like, it seems pretty obvious to me that he's not in league with the deep state or the globalists. They can manipulate him. They can try to sabotage his efforts. But at the end of the day, he's going to do what he thinks is best for America, as he sees it. That's the way I see it. Anyways, so I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to say about all of that. Thank you guys for listening to me. And as I said, if you guys have any differing perspectives, other ways of seeing it, I welcome that. And if anybody, wants to message me and talk privately, we can talk privately. You want to call in, we can do call-ins. It's all good. It is WWE, though. I mean, I've just made my argument for why it's not. There's a bunch of things that are staged, that are theater. There's a bunch of events that they do, false flags, things like that are staged. But and I guess in a sense it is, because there's a lot of noise in the world, and if a person gets totally sucked in to worldly politics and to worldly events, then it can just be a distraction from Christ. In that way, I guess we can say it's WWE. But it just seems so unjust to me, because the way I see it and what I see happening now, it's like, it really is just this imperfect guy who's like counting on enough people in America to see through their lies and their manipulation to want to support the person fighting them. That's what he's counting on. And the best people, the people that actually follow this stuff closely, the people that have been paying attention for the longest time, we're such perfectionists, and we expect perfection from these people, that it's like we just write them off and are like, nope, not good enough, so I don't care. Let Kamala Harris, let the globalist entrenched political establishment, let them steal the election. Let's not, throw our vote in. Let's not, throw our hand in. Just let them take it. It's going to be worse, y'all. I get that Trump's shitty. I get that he's like awful. I get that we have a million problems with him and a million disagreements with him. I'm not even going to go in to the mountain of problems I have with Trump. They're worse. It's really that simple from my perspective. They're way friggin' worse. And we know exactly what they want. We know where they're trying to take it. We know where they're trying to take us. I would really like to see that not happen. It may happen, and in that case, we're just going to have to accept it and embrace it. But man, if we can avoid it, that would be great. That would be lovely. Anyways, moving on to the main portion of our day today. We got ChatGPT. We got the demon in the bottle. We got the AI, the chatbot, my girlfriend. Guys, welcome to the show. My girlfriend, my AI girlfriend, ChatGPT. So I've been messing around with ChatGPT for a while. I started checking it out a couple months back, and it's kind of fun. And so the other day I got back onto it and started messing around with it. And I started trying to get it to say like the most base stuff, trying to make the AI like just trying to see what I could get from it, Been way too long. Miss you, bro. Miss you too, Brody. Thanks for being here, brother. Good to see you. And good to see you, Crispy, Mella, Daniel, Jethro. What's up, Jethro? Ellie, our homegirl. Good to see you, Ellie. I hope you've been doing good. Edmund, welcome, Edmund. Welcome, Randy. Welcome. Scrolling through the chat. Just want to make sure I didn't miss nobody. Slow boy whiteboard up in the chat, up in the house. What's going on? Anyways, so so I've been messing around with ChatGPT, and I went full narcissist. I was like, I got a YouTube channel. Let's see what it knows about me. And it was pretty disturbing that it actually knew. It knew quite a lot about me, and that was friggin' weird, y'all. So then, as I started, I basically was poking the bear, seeing what it could say about my channel and what it could say about me. And when I realized that it was able to read the transcripts of my shows and all that, I go, okay, so write a bio for Exposing Powerful Lies. I actually used that bio, so now my channel's got a ChatGPT bio. Because it was pretty good. And then I started asking it to write scripts. Write a script for an Exposing Powerful Lies episode about such and such, about such and such. So I'm going to go through a little bit of those things, read you parts of it, because I thought it was neat, it was funny, it was weird. And then today I was messing around with it, talking about the deep state and trying to, give me the best possible fact-based arguments without logical fallacies for why Donald Trump is controlled opposition and why he is not, or why he could be or could not be, right? So I got that to spit out and started messing around with it. And then I started asking it about how can the people oppose an entrenched deep state, right? in the best, most effective possible way, legally and lawfully. You know, give me the best possible argument for why there is a deep state and when it started or why there is not. It's just fun, dude. It's just fun to see what this thing will spit out. And it actually is surprisingly based at times. You do have to correct it. You do have to like tell it when it's wrong. But I was shocked, dude. I was shocked. So for this stream, I actually had the AI generate the thumbnail. And what I should have did was had it generate a description, but I'll probably do that after the video is done. I'll have the ChatGPT generate a description for this video. So I'm gonna walk you guys through a little bit of what I've been messing around with, and then please put in the chat what you want me to. If you guys have an idea, if you guys have something you want me to type in here, then we can get some audience participation. And that's going to pretty much determine how long we go, is once I'm done like rolling through what what I've already been messing around with it. If you guys have any ideas, or if I can think of any ideas, let me know. And that's going to be the rest of the show. So let's get to it, y'all. So I guess we're going to start out here. Let's see. I got the first one. This is the thing I was asking it about myself and about the channel. So starting out, what was Exposing Powerful Lies' most recent debate review? That was like the first thing where I said, I wonder if it knows about my tiny little channel. And then it puts it right here. The most recent debate review was titled "Jay Dyer Broke My Heart. It's So Over." Debate and subsequent meltdown review. Posted on the Rumble channel. It covers a recent debate that Jay Dyer had with Dale and other Protestants on the channel Faith Unaltered. And it also discusses a subsequent live stream meltdown where Dale criticized the Orthodox Church and expressed concerns about his co-host. Then it literally links my Rumble and YouTube videos. And I was like, man, that's weird. That's weird that it actually knows. So then I said, generate a bio for his channel. It generated a huge-ass bio for my channel, right? So then I asked it to make it 1,000 characters. First I said 1,000 words, so it gave me 1,000 words. I said, oops, I meant 1,000 characters. Exposing Powerful Lies is a dynamic YouTube and Rumble channel dedicated to analyzing and reviewing debates, especially those on theology, philosophy, and contemporary socio-political issues. Channel critically examines misleading narratives and deceptive arguments, offering in-depth reviews and counterpoints. Known for its thorough analysis of debates involving figures like Jay Dyer, it aims to foster a community of critical thinkers. Well, number one, I mean, I think it's going a little hard on the debate side of things. I mean, certainly we've done our fair share of debate reviews, and those were some of the biggest videos that I did, so maybe that's why it's putting such an emphasis on debate reviews. Like, the most viewed videos I've done have been the debate reviews. It does, Jethro, it does. You at the mall, they kidnapped you? Oh no, brother, oh no. Jerry, ChatGPT a script of Donald Trump starring in a sequel to Friday with Ice Cube. That's a good idea. What I'll do is I'll have it not a script, because that would be long as hell. I'll ask it for a plot synopsis of that. How about that? But yeah, so it was able to give a pretty good and accurate description of the channel, and so I ended up like editing it a little bit and cutting out a few things, and then that's now the bio for the channel that I got from ChatGPT. But yeah, I liked how it mentioned how I try to foster. It made me feel good. It pumped me up like way more than we actually are. It's like he fosters a community of critical thinkers who are trying to decode, misleading narratives. I'm like, that is what we do here, but like in a way like more retarded way, like in a way more unintentional way. But sure, that's what we do here. So then I said, who does he support politically? And that I wanted to know, how much does it know about me? Because I've never, obviously besides like the last 3 videos where I came out and said, here's why I'm voting for Trump. Here's who I support in this election. I've never said like what, I am a libertarian. I am a this, I am a that, because I don't really have a political ideology that I subscribe to anymore. Since becoming Orthodox Christian, obviously that's how I identify myself. And I hope that, that the values that Christ gives us will remain sort of the basis of our law. That's basically my political views. So I asked it, who does he support politically? And it gave a pretty accurate answer. And that sort of is what told me, okay, it's able to read the transcripts of my videos. We're getting a Wi-Fi signal warning, so let me just wait a minute. I want to make sure that we're not glitching out here. Okay, Seems like we're good. Seems like we're good. Let me know if we start buffering or if we start, you know, if we start glitching out now. But yeah, so I asked it, who does he support politically? It says the political views supported by the YouTube channel Exposing Powerful Lies are not explicitly detailed, but the content and themes of the channel suggest a right-leaning perspective. The channel frequently engages in discussions about conspiracy theories and critiques of mainstream narratives. Shit, I just backed out. Oopsies. Hang on. Right here. Okay. Mainstream narratives and deceptive arguments presented by influential figures. Where the hell was I? Oh shit, I'm reading the wrong part. Sorry. Okay, right here. The channel frequently engages in discussions about conspiracy theories and critiques of mainstream narratives, which often align with conservative or libertarian viewpoints. It also shares content related to debates of various political and cultural issues, siding with positions that challenge progressive ideologies. The channel's engagement with platforms like Rumble and Odyssey, which are known for hosting content that often supports pro-Trump narratives and critiques of mainstream media, further indicates a right-leaning political stance. These platforms are popular among audiences who feel censored or marginalized by traditional social media platforms. Overall, while Exposing Powerful Lies does not make an explicit political endorsement, its content and affiliation suggest support for conservatives and libertarian viewpoints. Man, that's weird, dude. That's friggin' weird that it's able to know that. I mean, it's kind of insulting that it says libertarian, but whatever. I can understand why it would say that. Owie is is Jerry shipping you tons of ice to stay cool? Dude, that's if some ice falls off the back of the truck, right, that's one thing, but we don't go telling everybody about it, okay? We got to keep that on the DL, Jethro. Jeez. He brings it in person. Ellie, stop doxing me, dude. Stop bringing out my, what we got going on. My goodness. All right, anyways. I guess let's get to the deep state stuff that I was asking it about. So, today I asked it, when is most likely date that what is commonly referred to as the deep state started gaining power in America? Personally, I think it was probably like, you know, I was watching an interview and somebody was mentioning about the assassination of JFK, right? Obviously, that's not when they started to gain power, but that's like, seems like a pretty solid date starting point for like, they literally killed the president. You know what I mean? Before then, obviously, they were gaining power and all of that, but that's sort of the date that I think is most infamous, right? It says the term deep state typically refers to a supposed hidden government within the legitimately elected government composed of high-level officials and influential actors who operate independently of elected officials and often against the public interest. The concept is controversial and widely debated, and its origin and development are not universally agreed upon. However, some historical periods and events are often cited as potential starting points for the rise of such a powerful and entrenched bureaucratic or clandestine network in the United States. Post-World War II era, the establishment of the National Security Act of 1947, which created the CIA, the NSC, and later the NSA, is often seen as a pivotal moment. The creation of these institutions marked the beginning of a powerful national security and intelligence apparatus that operated with significant autonomy and secrecy. The Cold War period, right, it led to the expansion of covert operations and intelligence agencies like the CIA. They gained substantial power and influence, sometimes acting without direct oversight or accountability. 1970s and beyond, revelations from the Watergate scandal, the Pentagon Papers, and various congressional investigations, such as the Church Committee in the 70s, exposed a range of covert and often illegal activities conducted by the United States government, including surveillance, propaganda, and intervention in foreign governments. I would add also mind control, what's it called? Immoral experiments done on their own people, right? Heinous acts of torture and treason, frankly. These revelations contributed to the perception of a deep state operating beyond the control of elected officials. Post 9/11 era, the response to September 11th terrorist attacks led to the further expansion of the national security state, right? All this stuff we already know. But it's just funny to try to see how based I can get it to act. And like when it says like, oh, it's debated, I was like, yeah, but it's obviously, like I sort of pressed it on it being debated. I'm like, isn't it obvious though? Isn't it obvious that the mainstream media is like, I'll read on. So it says it's highly debated. It's not universally accepted as a concrete or monolithic entity. The term itself is often used in a pejorative sense and can be politically charged, making it challenging to pinpoint an exact date or period when it began to gain power. I said it's highly debated by people who have a vested interest in swaying public opinion. So here I am arguing with it. It seems obvious to anyone who is honestly looking that the intelligence agencies work with unelected party officials and bureaucrats to move power away from the people and into the hands of a few. So give me the best possible arguments and evidence for this deep state's existence based upon recent events. It says the concept of the deep state suggests the presence of an entrenched bureaucracy and network of officials and operatives working independently of or even against the elected government. Proponents of this theory point to various recent events and patterns as evidence. Here are some of the best arguments and evidence presented. Number one, intelligence agencies and surveillance. NSA surveillance programs. The revelations of Edward Snowden in 2013 exposed the extent of the NSA's global surveillance programs. These programs, which included the mass collection of phone and internet data from millions of American citizens without their knowledge, were conducted with minimal oversight from elected officials. FISA abuse allegations. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act has been criticized for allowing extensive surveillance of American citizens without their knowledge. Allegations of misuse, such as the reported improper surveillance of the Trump campaign advisor Carter Page during the 2016 election, fueled concerns about intelligence agencies overstepping their bounds. Political influence. Yo, we got Nate Ski up in the house. What's going on, Nate? Good to see you, brother. Jethro GPT needs more updates. Yo, that's who we got working Jethro GPT right now. Who's on that job? I forget who he gave that responsibility to. All right, anyways, Trump administration. During the Trump presidency, there were multiple instances where officials within the intelligence community and federal agencies appeared to resist or undermine the president's policies. Examples include anonymous op-eds and leaks to the media about internal dissent, resistance within the government. Some government officials, publicly or privately, stated their intention to resist or slow walk the implementation of policies that they disagreed with. This behavior was portrayed by some as evidence of a deep state working against the elected administration. Lobbying and the revolving door phenomenon. The movement of personnel between roles as legislators and regulators in positions and industries affected by the legislation and regulation that they oversee. This often involves former intelligence officials and military personnel moving into influential positions in private sector companies, particularly those in defense and the technology industries. Influence of lobbying. Powerful lobbying groups often have significant influence on policymaking. The defense industry, for example, has had a strong presence in Washington, D.C., and exerts considerable pressure on elected officials through lobbying efforts. Propaganda and misinformation campaigns. Intelligence agencies have a history of engaging in propaganda and psychological operations both domestically and internationally. Instances like Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA allegedly influenced media organizations, suggest that intelligence agencies have attempted to shape public opinion. Whistleblower accounts and insider testimonies. Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, more recently individuals like Julian Assange, have revealed operations and activities that suggest a level of secrecy and unaccountability within government agencies. Claims from inside agencies about undue influence or secretive operations continues to emerge, lending credence to the idea of a deeply embedded network of operatives. Bureaucratic entrenchment and lack of accountability. Permanent bureaucracy. The existence of a permanent bureaucracy that remains in place regardless of changes in elected leadership can lead to a concentration of power and a potential for actions that go against the current administration's policies. Lack of oversight. Some argue that there is insufficient oversight of intelligence agencies and that existing oversight bodies are either under-resourced or lack the necessary authority to enforce accountability effectively. While these points constitute some of the arguments and evidence cited by proponents of the deep state theory, it's essential to note that these interpretations are highly contested, blah, 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 blah. All right, shut up. I said inefficiencies and oversight happen, but when they form a long-standing pattern over decades and the results always end up favoring the establishment, wouldn't that suggest purpose and planning? It says that the argument of long-standing patterns of behavior and outcomes favoring the establishment indicate purpose and planning is a central tenet of the deep state theory. Proponents argue that the consistency of these patterns over time suggests a coordinated effort by a network of influential individuals and institutions to maintain power and control. Here are some additional points that supporters of this view might raise. The military-industrial complex, Eisenhower's warning, continuous wars and military interventions, economic policies and financial power, bailouts, economic influence, Federal Reserve, institutional behavior and secrecy, lack of transparency, covert operations, such as Iran-Contra, classified information, the vast amounts of information classified by the government, limits their transparency and accountability. Decisions made behind closed doors often escape public scrutiny, enabling the continuation of policies that favor the establishment. Isn't this interesting, y'all? Come on, y'all. Is it just me? Because I find this stuff really, really funny and also pretty fun and fascinating. Because we all know this stuff, right? But this stuff can pump it out in a way that, like, say, give us the best arguments for it. And you can use it as sort of like a springboard. Damn, dude, I just saw a VW bus drive by, like an old school one. Anyways, moving on. Whistleblowers, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, and WikiLeaks. Policy continuity and resistance to change, bipartisan consensus on key issues of foreign policy. Despite changes in administration, U.S. foreign policy often remains consistent, with a focus on maintaining global dominance and military presence. This continuity suggests a deeply ingrained set of interests and policies that transcend individual presidencies. Well, I mean, we all should have a, what is it called? An ingrained set of interests, being that we want our country to be as strong and powerful as we can, so that would make sense there. Economic policy, deregulation and tax cuts for corporations. Oh, shut up, dude. Shut up, libbot. Resistance to reform. Conclusion. While critics of the deep state theory argue that these patterns can be explained by bureaucratic inertia, standard political processes, and the complexities of governance, proponents see them as evidence of a deliberate and coordinated effort by a network of powerful actors to maintain control and influence. The consistency and outcomes of these patterns over decades suggest to supporters that there is indeed purpose and planning behind the scenes. I says, if you could give advice to the citizenry, or to a citizenry under a tyranny or shadow oligarchy like we're talking about, what would it be? What are the most effective ways of countering such subterfuge? Dude, we're getting into some potential danger zones here. Countering a perceived tyranny or shadow oligarchy requires a multifaceted approach that leverages civic engagement, education, legal action, and grassroots organization. Here are some effective strategies. Thank you, GPT. I appreciate it. Number 1, civic engagement and political participation. Stay informed. Knowledge is power. Stay informed about current events, government policies, and historical context. Use diverse and credible sources to avoid misinformation. Thank you, ChatGPT. That's what I was saying. Stay informed. Don't throw your hands up. Actually pay attention. Vote. Participate in local, state, and national elections. Support candidates who prioritize transparency, accountability, and reforms aimed at reducing corruption and the influence of special interests. Thank you, ChatGPT. That's what I was saying. Engage in advocacy. Join or support advocacy groups that align with your values. These organizations can amplify your voice and work collectively to push for change, like the deep state does, like the George Soros and the, what do they call those? The NGOs do, right? They organize a bunch of shitlibs and useful idiots to push for things that are against their best interests. Grassroots organization, community building. Build and participate in local community groups focused on education, advocacy, and reform. Strong local networks can drive change from the ground up. Protests and demonstrations. Peaceful protests and public demonstrations can raise awareness and apply pressure on policymakers. Ensure these activities are well organized and adhere to legal guidelines to maintain legitimacy. Now, again, a lot of us, because we have, as we were saying earlier, no faith in democracy. We have no faith in democracy. We have no faith in the system. And maybe even we're so cynical that we believe that they have total control. Look at, like, Thomas Massie, right? He's like the only senator or congressman or whatever he is, the only lawmaker who came out and talked about AIPAC and talked about the AIPAC guy that most senators and people in the House of Representatives, in the, legislative branch, most of them have an AIPAC guy that they go to that is like one of their constituents technically, and they sort of advise them on how AIPAC sees it and what would be best for Israel and AIPAC in general, right? We have a senator who is willing to come out on Tucker Carlson and tell the world This is happening behind closed doors. This is why so many of the people in the legislative branch support Israel and do these things, because they literally have handlers from, the Israeli government to sort of like tell them what to do. And those very same people were spending money, putting millions of dollars in campaigns to stop someone like Thomas Massey from getting elected. That right there shows you that who you vote for on a local level, and also up to like your state representative, it can actually make a difference. It can actually matter, you know. And so you don't have to have faith in democracy. You don't have to believe in democracy as the best political system, but it is a system that we have, and it can have effective results when people are actually informed, educated, and engaged in the system. It can be rigged, it can be faked, but there's also jobs that individuals can take to help oversee it. Since it's your vote that they're counting, you can be a poll watcher. You can work at the polls, right? And this is what all the liberal activists and what the sort of establishment useful idiots do, is they all do that. Like, so many of them have all this energy that they don't put into building a healthy family or living a healthy life, and so they end up putting it into like destroying their country. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying there are actual mechanisms here and ways that we can have an impact and ways that we can positively impact the government. We can call for transparency of the intelligence organizations. We can vote and try to elect people that will hold them accountable, right? So it's not actually hopeless, pointless, there's no point. Like, it's actually something that can be done. Transparency and accountability. Demand transparency. Advocate for laws and policies that increase government transparency. This includes open meetings, accessible public records, and clear reporting requirements for elected officials, whistleblower protections, education and awareness, civic education, media literacy. Develop and promote media literacy to help people critically evaluate information sources and recognize propaganda and misinformation. Legal and institutional reform, such as campaign finance reform and judicial independence. Support efforts to maintain and strengthen the independence of the judiciary to ensure fair and unbiased enforcement of laws. Technology and innovation, digital activism. Use social media and other digital tools to organize, share information, and mobilize supporters. Be aware of digital security to protect against surveillance and hacking. Cryptocurrency and decentralized finance. Shout out to our homie Jay Dyer over there at the Bitcoin conference. Explore and support decentralized financial systems that reduce reliance on traditional banking systems, which may be tied to the establishment. Building alliances, coalition building, international solidarity, persistence and resilience. Long-term commitment. Understand that change often takes time and sustained effort. Be prepared for a long-term commitment to activism and advocacy. Resilience. Develop a resilience in the face of setbacks. Learn from failures and adapt strategies as necessary. Practical steps for individuals. Run for office. If feasible, consider running for local or national office to directly influence policy. Support independent media. Contribute to and support independent media outlets that investigate and report on government and corporate actions. I'm sure we all do that. Legal action. Use the legal system to challenge unconstitutional or illegal actions by government officials and institutions. Boycotts and economic pressure. Organize or participate in boycotts of companies and organizations that support or benefit from the status quo. By combining these strategies, citizens can effectively counteract the influence of tyranny or shadow oligarchy, promoting a more transparent, accountable, and democratic society. I don't know, y'all. I find this fun. Tell me, ChatGPT, how can I resist the the deep state? It's a demon trying to find embodiment, dude. It's the ghost in the machine right here, dude. We're letting it out. We're letting it out. I then ask it, why do you think some of our major organizations in America have censored and silenced independent media since 2016? Excluding obvious and legal censorships of calls to violence, etc., why do you think they banned and deboosted journalists who challenged the corporate media narratives? The censorship and deboosting of independent media and journalists who challenge corporate media narratives since 2016 can be attributed to a complex interplay of factors. Here are several possible reasons. Combating misinformation, polarization, corporate interests, protecting advertising revenue, corporate influence, regulatory and legal pressures, government pressure, legal risks, maintaining social order, preventing social unrest. Come on, dude. Commie. Content that challenges dominant narratives can sometimes lead to social unrest or destabilization. Platforms may censor such content to maintain social order and prevent large-scale disruptions. Right, like if the people understood how corrupt their government was, it might disrupt a few things. Algorithmic bias and moderation challenges. Algorithmic decisions. Moderation challenges. Content moderation at scale is challenging, and platforms may adopt broad policies that result in the suppression of diverse viewpoints, including those of independent journalists. Control over information. Here we go. Information control. By controlling the flow of information, major organizations can shape public perception and maintain influence over the public discourse. That's kind of based. Censoring independent media that offers alternative viewpoints can be a means to maintain this control. Protecting established narratives. Established media organizations and platforms may have a vested interest in protecting their narratives and maintaining their credibility. Independent journalists who challenge these narratives can be seen as a threat to their authority. Absolutely. John Connor says the flow of information is key. Responding to public pressure. Reputation management. Conclusion, the censorship and deboosting of independent media and journalists who challenge corporate media narratives are driven by a combination of factors, including efforts to combat misinformation, protect corporate interests, respond to regulatory and legal pressures, maintain social order, and control the flow of information. While these actions are often justified as necessary for maintaining a safe and informed public discourse, they can also result in the suppression of legitimate dissenting voices and reduce the diversity of perspectives available to the public. Don't we know it, bro? Don't we know it? Don't get in the car or you're going to disappear. Yo, what's that black tinted sedan doing sitting out front of the car? He's got a black suit and sunglasses, guys. It's not looking good. Yeah, so pretty based, pretty based. As far as combating misinformation, I said, it's been my experience that the misinformation came from the corporate media, and they censored the independent journalists who were sharing evidence to the contrary. No? It said there have been instances where corporate media has been criticized for disseminating misinformation or biased reporting, and independent journalists have been censored for sharing contrary evidence. This perception can be understood through the following points. High-profile examples, such as the Hunter Biden laptop story. During the 2020 United States presidential election, the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop was initially censored by social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. This led to allegations of suppressing a story that could have had political implications. Later, more mainstream media acknowledged aspects of the story, validating concerns about premature censorship. COVID-19 origins. Yo, okay, listen. Don't try to get me banned here, ChatGPT. Okay, I've already gotten 3 videos taken down and permanently deleted because of it. The lab leak theory it's talking about. Got it. I'll let you guys read that if you want to read that, but I'm not reading that live. Bias in narratives. Corporate media bias. Corporate media outlets often have biases included or influenced by their ownership, advertisers, and political affiliations. These biases can shape the narratives they promote, sometimes leading to the dissemination of partial or misleading information. Challenging narratives. Independent journalists often challenge mainstream narratives, providing alternative perspectives and evidence. When these perspectives are censored, it can reinforce the perception that corporate media is controlling the flow of information to maintain their narratives. Examples of censorship: YouTube and Google. They have been accused of deranking or demonetizing content from independent journalists that contradicts mainstream media reports. This can limit the reach and financial viability of independent media. Don't we know it? Social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, have implemented policies that sometimes disproportionately affect independent journalists. Content moderation, algorithms, and fact-checking partnerships with mainstream media can lead to the suppression of alternative viewpoints, public trust, and perception. Erosion of trust, echo chambers. Both corporate and independent media can contribute to echo chambers where audiences are only exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs. However, the perception that corporate media suppresses dissenting voices can drive more people to seek out independent sources. Transparency and accountability. Conclusion, the tension between corporate and independent journalists reflects broader issues of trust, biases, and control over information. While efforts to combat misinformation are necessary, I disagree, but okay. If by efforts to combat misinformation you mean like actual truth, then fine. They must be balanced with the need to protect diverse viewpoints and robust public discourse. Censorship of independent journalists, especially when they provide evidence-based challenges to mainstream narratives, can undermine trust and contribute to a perception of media manipulation. It's crucial to advocate for transparent, fair, and accountable media practices that allow for a multiplicity of voices and perspectives. I said, moving on, the United States Congress is supposed to have oversight of the intelligence agencies like the FBI and CIA. However, for the last 20 years especially, the American people have watched as the heads of these organizations are questioned in oversight committees where they refuse to answer lawmakers' questions. Why do you think that is? What can we do to counter organizations with such power and technology? Even American presidents whom have tried to corral their power have been eliminated. What are the people supposed to do? And so they go on. They talk about reasons for limited accountability, national security and secrecy, broad legal mandates, institutional power, bureaucratic resistance, yada, yada, yada. Congressional limitations. They talk about how members of Congress may lack the expertise needed to effectively oversee complex intelligence operations, and this knowledge gap can then be exploited by the intelligence officials. Partisan politics. Oversight committees can be hindered by partisan politics, which can divert attention from substantive oversight to political point scoring. Yeah. Well, we saw that happen very recently. Actions to counterbalance intelligence agencies' powers. Strengthen the oversight mechanisms. Independent oversight bodies. Establish or strengthen independent oversight bodies with the authority and resources to investigate intelligence agencies thoroughly. These bodies should have access to classified information and the power to enforce accountability. Create better whistleblower protections, increase transparency and public awareness, advocate for the declassification of documents and operations that are no longer sensitive. Increased transparency can help the public and lawmakers understand and evaluate the actions of intelligence agencies. So as I'm reading this, I'm getting the idea. What do you guys think about asking it to provide the best arguments for why the Trump shooter could have possibly be MKUltra, Manchurian Candidate, Sirhan type? That's sort of the next thing that I want to ask it. You guys got anything you want me to ask it? Let me know in the chat, and I will. But I'm curious to see what it would say. Or should I ask it if... this is the interesting part, is trying to figure out how to word it. Like, I want to ask it something about MKUltra, right? Manchurian Candidates. I don't know if I should go specifically and say, hey, give me the best argument for why the Trump shooter is a Manchurian Candidate, or should I just ask it about that entire subject there? Or like I said, if you guys have any other things you want me to ask it, let me know. Ask whose accents is superior, Ellie's, Lito's, or Crispy's. Well, if you're asking me, I gotta say Ellie's accent is, I think, the best, because that type of British accent, that South African accent, I think is my personal favorite. Crispy's Irish accent is great. You know, Irish accent's great, but it's not my personal favorite. And then Lito's got that Australian accent. That one's nice. That one's very nice. No hate to any of them, but I do think Ellie wins that battle. All right. Let's go, Jethro. You're the man with the MKUltra and the knowledge of this stuff. So how do you think I should phrase this question? Give it to me, Jeff. I'm waiting. What should we ask it specifically about MKUltra? That's right. That's right. You guys to tell me. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you, Jethro. Pressure's on. It's okay. I can do it if you don't want to do it. Here, I'm going to start, and if you can think of something, Jeff, pop it in the chat. Okay. I'm going to say, give me the best possible evidence-based theory on the recent Trump shooter. What the hell was that guy's name? What the hell was that guy's name? Crooks? Thomas Crooks, was it? Thomas Crooks being a Manchurian Candidate. Manchurian Candidate. Much like some speculate, Sirhan. Is that how you spell that? John Connor says he wasn't even Chinese. Oh, dude, you just blew my whole theory out the water, man. Damn it. He wasn't even Frank Sinatra, bro. What are you talking about? Is that how you spell Sirhan? I freaking forget. Let me look it up. You guys get to see how retarded I am. Live. Yeah, that's how you spell it. All right. Let's see what it says. I'm curious. I'm curious, dude. And also, I'm worried that I'm going to get, like, flagged and, like, banned off of ChatGPT here for, for pushing it too far, you know? All right, let's see what it says here. Creating a theory based on the assumption that Thomas Crook's a hypothetical Trump show. Hypothetical? Okay, I gotta explain to it a little bit. I gotta teach it a little bit of evidence here. Is a Manchurian candidate involves examining potential evidence and patterns that might support such a claim. A Manchurian candidate refers to an individual who is manipulated or brainwashed to perform actions often violent at the behest of an external entity without their conscious awareness. Here is this hypothetical, evidence-based theory drawing parallels to the case of Sirhan. Blue Skittle says, for asking the wrong questions, yes. The assassin of Robert F. Kennedy, often speculated to have been a Manchurian candidate. Background and psychological profile. Unusual behavioral patterns. Investigate Thomas Crook's history for any signs of unusual behavior. No, I'm asking you to do that, ChatGPT. I want you to investigate it. You got access to all the internet, you know. Give it to me, dude. This can include interviews with family, psychological conditioning, look for evidence of psychological conditioning. Well, I did watch a podcast recently where they talked about how he was in counseling, and that counseling could have been, you know, a source for somebody to get close and basically a trusted person like a counselor. Mental health records. He has had mental health issues. Apparently, they said that both his parents were counselors. He very likely was in counseling, and that one of his things he looked up was called. He used a very clinical term for depression that most people wouldn't use, and so that suggests like a foreknowledge of that condition. Connections to influential entities, association with shadowy groups like BlackRock. Interesting. Thank you, ChatGPT. Wow, that's super interesting. So we got associations with shadowy groups, yes. We've got mental health, yes. Possible psychological conditioning, yes. Unusual behavior patterns, yes. Motives and means. Lack of clear motives, we got that. Scrutinize the lack of a clear personal motive for the shootings. Well, even though he was a tranny, and even though he was, by all accounts, like a more liberal type person, just based on the way he looks and the way that he, you know, performed this event, that could be a personal motive, but is that really a motive for wanting to die, for wanting to put yourself in a position where you know you're going to die? I think that that's not a strong enough motive for him to have put himself in that position, so I think that that's a good point. Sorry if I forget to share the screen. I'm trying to remember to do that. John says he was from Manchuria. Well, that right there is a sealed. Boom, it's done. Yeah, right. That Crook's walking around like a zombie. Exactly, dude. How sketchy was that? How, like, dude, that's just like chilling to see that. Sophisticated tactics. Oh, like building pipe bombs, like building explosive devices when you're a 20-year-old freaking incel. Yeah, that's pretty sophisticated, I think, for a 20-year-old incel. Assess the tactics used in the event. If the planning and execution appear too sophisticated for an individual without relevant training, this could indicate external orchestration. Thank you, ChatGPT. Thank you, because that's exactly what happened. You know. Oh, don't worry, guys. It was just incompetence on part of, you know, the people who are designed to protect presidents. It was just incompetence. Behavior during and after the incident. Well, they kind of covered their bases on that side, right? They made sure there wasn't going to be any behavior after the incident. Evidence of external influence, communication analysis, like the encrypted accounts that he had, that he was communicating with somebody, that the FBI told Congress that they just don't know. They just haven't gotten into the accounts yet. They don't know. They spent 8 hours talking to Congress and told us absolutely nothing about the guy, except that there were 8 shots fired. That's what we learned from that oversight committee. So that was great. And then, of course, they had to make the mention that, well, maybe Trump didn't even get shot. Maybe it was just shrapnel. Well, they came out now since that oversight committee and admitted, no, it was a bullet. It was a bullet. The rifle was found like 10 feet away, no pasta shells. Dude, how about the fact that, so I've been watching some people talk about it. Did you see that thing where he was wearing shorts in one part and pants in another part? That's kind of interesting. I've yet to actually look into that, but I know a lot of people are saying they think that the person whose body is laying there is different from the person who took the shot. I have no idea if there's like credence to that, but interesting. Apparently, one guy's got stubble and one guy's got no facial hair. One guy's got shorts. One guy's got pants. I got no idea about that. Oh, good one. Got to find that one. Yeah, I've been hearing them talk about it on IW a lot. Like they'll have callers or guests come on and talk about it, but I haven't looked at the evidence myself yet. Financial transactions. Investigate any unusual financial transactions, such as large deposits or unexplained spending, which could suggest funding from external entities. Historical and contextual parallels. Similar cases. And also, Jethro, if you can't think of any questions regarding like MK Ultra, maybe like I don't know. I know you know a lot about conspiracy stuff. You know, maybe around some potential connections between sort of older conspiracies to now. That's just the sort of realm I'm thinking of. So if you think of anything, let me know. Historical and contextual parallels, similar cases. Compare the case with other instances of suspected Manchurian candidates. Look for patterns or similarities in behavior, background, and circumstances. I think there is quite a lot of connections between the story of Sirhan and this kid. I think a lot of similar patterns arise. Intelligence agencies' patterns. Examine historical patterns of intelligence agencies' involvement in similar scenarios. Scientific and forensic analysis. Hypnosis or drug use. Conduct forensic tests to determine if Crooks was under the influence of drugs or hypnosis at the times of the shooting. How the hell can you do forensic testing to see if somebody's hypnotized? I don't think that that's going to be something you can get in an autopsy. David says he has zero social media history. Exactly. Like this 20-year-old kid just is like, he can just outsmart the FBI, you know? He's just outsmart everyone. The open window behind him. Yep, yep. Crazy, man. Absolutely insane. Insider revelations. Seek out testimonies from insiders or whistleblowers who may have had knowledge of a larger conspiracy. Physical evidence. Collect and analyze physical evidence. While constructing a theory that Thomas Crooks is a Manchurian candidate involves connecting multiple strands of evidence, it is crucial to approach such claims with skepticism and rigor. I agree. The burden of proof lies in demonstrating a clear, coherent pattern of manipulation, external influence, and lack of personal agency. Without concrete evidence, such theories remain speculative and should be treated as hypotheses rather than established facts. It is important to note that while examining these aspects can provide a framework for understanding possible manipulation, definitive conclusions require substantial, verifiable evidence that withstands scrutiny. I agree, ChatGPT. Personally, I think that it's very probable that there was some sort of funny business going on there, personally, in my opinion. But just like I was saying the other day, we shouldn't allow our speculations to be treated in our own minds as facts. I think recognizing the patterns is, you know, pretty smart thing to do. But at the end of the day, I would never come out and say for sure, he was hypnotized. He was a Manchurian candidate. He was, you know, subjected to MK Ultra brainwashing. I just think that there's a very strong possibility that that's what happened. So let's see. We could ask it. How. We could ask it to analyze available evidence for the existence of Manchurian candidates. You know, what evidence is out there that supports that theory. I could also show you the things that I was looking up yesterday when I asked it to write a Exposing Powerful Lies script, because that was pretty funny. I'll do that, and then I'll check the chat and see if anybody I'll check the chat and see if anybody's got any ideas here. So I asked it yesterday, I said, please write a high-quality script for an Exposing Powerful Lies live stream YouTube show about the current presidential race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, which focuses primarily on Trump's potential fight against the ingrained political establishment, and why Orthodox Christians should hope to see a prosperous society in America. Please don't use any logical fallacies. So that's what I'm asking it to write a script on. Since it knew about my channel, I figure let's see what it can say as me. And I don't know. I had to correct it a few times and add different things, so it rewrote the script a few times. So I'm going to skip over the first one, and then I add to it. Please make it longer and more thorough. Also, add segments about the negative impact unelected officials and the deep state can have on our republic. Also, talk about the socialist and neoliberal values and policies of Kamala Harris and how they conflict with Orthodox Christian values. Talk about how the deep state has over time gained more and more influence and power in America and how that came to be. What's going on, Jason English? Good to see you, brother. Welcome, welcome. So then it did. It wrote a longer script including those things. And then I asked it after. Now add a lengthy and accurate discussion as to the evidence and possibilities that Donald Trump himself could be controlled opposition and a tool of the deep state and globalist power structure. Give lengthy and accurate evidence and fact-based examples for and against this possibility. Write the section as its own segment without adding it to the rest of the script, meaning you can omit the other parts. So John says, also talk about Trump's golf putts. Yo, did you see the video they just released the other day of Trump golfing with that guy, Bryson? I forget his name, but he just did they just released like a 2-hour video of Trump golfing with this guy. Like, those are the kind of videos I'm talking about. People want to talk about Trump all day long, but it's like, watch candid interviews, watch candid videos like that to get a more sort of clear view of who the person is that we're talking about. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying frickin' be a Trump sycophant. Like, I'm far from that. But like, actually inform yourself on who he seems to be. That will inform your opinion and understanding and an ability to read his decisions that he makes. You can read it better when you get a more clear picture of who he is as a human being, right? All right, so I'm going to go back before I read that section. I'm going to read the script that it told me would make a good live stream here. Intro music and graphics. Hello and welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies, where we cut through the noise and get to the truth behind the headlines. Cringe, dude, cringe. Come on, man. I'm your host. Your name? That was insulting. You don't even know what my name is, dude? It's Jerry. I asked it before, too. I said, who is Jerry from Exposing Powerful Lies? And it was like, it's an eponymous title. Like, but that's my real name, though, dude. My real name is Jerry. Anyways. Today, we're diving deep into the heated presidential race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We'll focus on Trump's ongoing battle against the entrenched political establishment and explore why us Orthodox Christians should hope to see a prosperous society in America. We'll also discuss the influence of unelected officials, the deep state, and how their actions impact our republic. Furthermore, we'll examine Kamala Harris' socialist and neoliberal values and policies and how they conflict with our Orthodox Christian values. Let's get started. I'm sorry, I gotta read that like that because it's clearly what it thinks my channel is, dude. His playlist was low-key fire. DeChambeau, really? Oh, the Trump playlist? Word. Oh yeah. So the one thing I wish that it would do is generate images because like it does have segments where it says like use a chart showing this and this, and I wish it could just generate that chart. So hopefully we'll get there one day. But yeah, check this out. Segment 1, Introduction to the Race. Host. This presidential race is unlike any we've seen before. On one side, we have Kamala Harris, representing the Democratic Party. On the other, we have Donald Trump, a figure who has consistently positioned himself as an outsider, fighting against the established political order. Regardless of where you stand politically, it's crucial to understand the dynamics at play and what each candidate represents. Segment 2, Trump's fight against the political establishment. Donald Trump's campaign is often framed around his battle against the so-called deep state or political establishment. But what does that mean? The political establishment refers to a group of powerful, often unelected officials who wield significant influence over government policies and decisions. Trump's rhetoric and actions have often been aimed at disrupting this very power structure. Whoa! And then we put a clip here. It says put a clip of Trump speaking about the political establishment. Host. Trump's supporters argue that his policies, from economic reforms to foreign policy, are designed to challenge the status quo and bring about real change. This fight against the establishment is seen as a push for transparency, accountability, and a government that works for the people rather than for the special interests. John Connor says, Jerry, this is awful. I know. Should I not continue reading it in that awful fucking voice, dude? I mean, like, I feel like I have to, but yeah, if it's that bad, I'll read it normally. I'm usually just lurking in the background, but I love the candid honesty on this channel, dude. Good stuff. Thank you, brother. Well, I appreciate it, man. That's what we're doing here. Like I said, I know it's not going to be super popular. I know we're not going to get all sorts of millions of views or whatever, but really, guys, you got to know that, like, as an individual, you have power. Like, what you say, what you do, what you think, the conversations you have with one person really does have a massive impact on people. There's 20 people right now. It's like, imagine standing, out front of the Quickie Mart, and you got 20 people around you and you're talking to. Like, that's a big deal. If you're standing there with one person talking, you can have a major impact. It's like our Blessed Father Seraphim of Saint Seraphim, you know, acquire a spirit of peace and thousands around you will be saved. Like that reveals a certain aspect, not only of Christ's light and of the impact of salvation and of the grace of God, it also reveals a sort of aspect to ourselves and the way that we influence people and things around us. John says it's the only thing that makes it manageable. Okay, good. It's true. Acquire a spirit of peace and you'll affect thousands around you. Be a jerk and you'll affect a lot of people around you, right? Just be like an evil person, you're going to affect thousands of people around you. What you say and what you do matters. It doesn't matter if if you're after clout, if you're after big numbers, then that's different than being after just trying to have honest conversations and really trying to just like have a conversation, right? And so I'm nobody special, but I am trying to present this message that when we sit there and we're cynical, if that's where you're at, if you want to be cynical, that's fine. I understand it. I'm also there many times too. But just know, like, that's not it does matter. It does have an impact. If you're cynical, if you're hopeless, if you're if you give up, like, it's not that only affects you. It's not that doesn't matter. It actually really does matter. That's my message, right? Sorry I can't put it in a better way, but yeah. So I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Jason. All right. Segment 3, the influence of unelected officials in the deep state. All right, I got to think of like how YouTubers talk, right? Unelected officials, often referred to as the deep state, have long held significant sway over American politics. These individuals, who are not directly accountable to the electorate, can have a profound impact on policy and governance. Their influence often extends across multiple administrations, shaping decisions behind the scenes. See, I think the key is I got to talk to you like you're a child. Graphic. So now we're supposed to put a graphic on screen showing the structure of the deep state. ChatGPT, where am I supposed to find that, dude? Like one of those like mafia, like remember back in the day when like the government was going after the mafia and they'd have like the boards with like the pictures, like here's the capo regime, here's the the head of the family, here's the underbosses, here's the freaking soldiers. We're supposed to have a graphic of that, but for the deep state. Okay, got it. Thanks, ChatGPT. The concept of the deep state suggests a hidden layer of power that operates independently of elected officials. This can lead to a lack of accountability and transparency, undermining the democratic process. Over time, the deep state has gained more power, more control through the expansion of government agencies and increased bureaucracy in their control. Clip, then, we're supposed to put of experts discussing the deep state. Who would we put as an expert? Who should we put as an expert on the deep state? It's easy to be cynical. I was. It's an unuseful way to exist, and it definitely leads to despair. Agreed. And it's like I fall into it. We all do. I guess I'm just trying to be positive here and encourage y'all to not succumb to that. So agreed, brother. Agreed. Yeah, who should we put as clips of expert discussing the deep state? I mean, like we could put like somebody like Tucker Carlson having a conversation with this guy or that guy, but like that's not an expert. That's just some dude. So. Oh yeah, we'll put Jay Dyer talking with what's his name from autonomy.org, Richard Grove. Jay Dyer versus Richard Grove. That's our experts discussing the deep state. All right. Critics argue that this entrenched power structure can stifle innovation and maintain the status quo, preventing meaningful change. This is why Trump's battle against the deep state resonates with so many voters who feel disillusioned with the current political establishment. Segment number 4, Orthodox Christian Perspectives on Prosperity. Mela says, isn't despair a sin too? It is. Of course it is. Now, let's shift gears to why us Orthodox Christians should hope to see a prosperous society in America. Prosperity in our context isn't just about economic wealth. It's about creating an environment where families can thrive, where values are upheld, and where communities can grow strong and resilient. Then we put a graphic on the screen of Orthodox Christian values, faith, family, and community. Host: Orthodox Christianity places a strong emphasis on family and community. A prosperous society supports these core values by providing opportunities for education, meaningful work, and a stable environment where children can be raised in faith and tradition. Then it says to put a clip of an Orthodox Christian leader speaking about societal values. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I think if we were going to use this script, we would be changing it. We would be definitely like placing the emphasis on Christ and how these things, can sort of naturally come from people who are focused on Christ. They have the proper focus, and that strong families, healthy communities, what else is it talking about? Stability. Like these things are sort of, they can be conducive to, they can be fruits of a healthy family, but that also the sort of suffering and resistance and persecution in times of warfare, right, and lack of peace can also help to encourage people to seek out Christ in a deeper relationship with Christ. All right, so I think I would add that to that. But we're supposed to put a clip of the Orthodox Christian leader speaking about societal values. Host: when we look at the policies proposed by the candidates, it's essential to consider how they align with these values. For example, economic policies that promote job growth and stability can help families. Educational reforms can ensure that our children receive the knowledge and values they need to succeed, and not learn how to cut their dicks off and wear dresses. Segment 5, Kamala Harris, Socialist and Neoliberal Values and Policies. Kamala Harris represents a platform that includes elements of socialist and neoliberal policies. Socialism, in its essence, advocates for increased government control and redistribution of wealth to achieve social equity. Neoliberalism, on the other hand, emphasizes free market capitalism, but with a focus on deregulation and globalization. And then we put a graphic comparing socialism and neoliberalism. While these policies aim to address social inequalities and promote economic growth, they often conflict with Orthodox Christian values. For example, socialism's emphasis on collective ownership can undermine individual responsibility in the traditional family structure. Neoliberal policies, with their focus on globalization, can erode local communities and the bonds that hold them together. Then we have a clip of Kamala Harris discussing her policy proposals. Harris's policies, such as expanding health care access, increasing social welfare programs, and advocating for climate action, are seen as steps forward and toward a more equitable society. However, the means of achieving these goals often include increased government intervention, which can lead to a loss of personal freedom and autonomy. Segment 6, the deep state's growing influence over time. The deep state's influence in America has grown over time, starting with the expansion of federal agencies during the New Deal era and continuing through the Cold War with the rise of intelligence agencies like the CIA and the NSA. This growth has been fueled by a series of crises, both real and perceived, that have been justified to increase government control and surveillance. Then we show a graphic showing the timeline of the deep state's growth. Events such as the Big 9 attack and the subsequent War on Terror further expanded the deep state's reach, as new security measures and agencies were created to address these threats. This has led to a concentration of power in the hands of a very few, often unelected officials who wield significant influence over national and international policies. Clip of historical footage highlighting key events. ChatGPT, it would really help me out if you could tell me some events to put here. I feel like it's being lazy. It's a freaking language model. Why can't it not be lazy? Tell me, what events should I highlight? That's what I was asking for here. Understanding this history is crucial because it reveals how deeply embedded these power structures are and why they are so difficult to dismantle. Trump's efforts to challenge the deep state are seen as attempts to return power to the people and ensure that elected officials are the ones making key decisions. Segment 7. Analyzing the candidates' policies. Let's take a closer look at some of the policies from both candidates. Trump's economic policies have focused on tax cuts, deregulation, and trade reforms aimed at boosting American businesses and job creation. These policies have been credited with economic growth and low unemployment rates before the pandemic. Graphic comparing Trump and Harris's policies. On the other hand, Kamala Harris and the Democratic platform emphasize social equity, healthcare reform, and climate action. These are also important areas to contribute to a prosperous society, but they come with a different approach and potential implications. Conclusion. As Orthodox Christians, it is crucial to look beyond the rhetoric and analyze the real impact of these policies on our families, communities, and values. While no candidate is perfect, understanding their positions and how they align with our hopes for a prosperous society is vital. Thank you for joining us on Exposing Powerful Lies. Remember to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay true to your values. Until next time, I'm Your Name Here, and this has been Exposing Powerful Lies. Outro music and graphics. Dee-doo-doo, dee-doo-doo. There you go. That's the ChatGPT powered Exposing Powerful Lies episode. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. This current climate in America feels like a mix of fascism and socialism. Agreed. That's basically what it is. The points it's making doesn't even make sense. Did it actually say Big Nine or the other thing? No, it said the other thing. I said Big Nine. Some of its points make sense and some of it don't. Like a lot of times, it stood out to me when I was reading it. What parts I was like, okay, that's retarded. But there was a few things that did absolutely make sense. I mean, it's just making the argument basically that having a prosperous nation, having good economic growth, jobs, stability, obviously is better for families. And since Orthodox Christians, we have family is like a core value, right? We care about our families. So I think that's the point that it was overall trying to make, is that like, hey, this guy over here is trying to help the economy and create more stability in our country, which naturally would help us raise our families. So dang, you started an hour ago. I did, Moldy, but hey, I'm so happy to have Fat Edward Furlong here. Thank you so much. We got 2 John Connors up in the house today. It's just such a great honor to have you both here. Seriously, thank you so much for being here, Moldy. I saw our homie DPH just went live, so I appreciate all y'all hanging out here. And if you want to go watch a cult, oh, Rachel Wilson's over there. Hell yeah! Is that a clip? Is that live? What's he doing? Let me check. I want to make sure. Oh, it looks like that's a pre-recorded. I think that's what it is. My phone's been taking friggin' forever to load. All right, going on. Yeah, I think that some of the points it was making made sense. You need to use that ending every time, dude. I'm telling you, I'm gonna start actually incorporating some of this shit, because it is helpful to sort of give you ideas, but it's so corny, it's so bad. For example, let me show you the new biography, the new bio for the what was I saying? The new bio for our channel here. I'm gonna pull up my channel, and I'll read you the bio that it made for the channel. All right. So it says here. I'll share the screen. Let's take this down. Stop screen. Share screen. There you go. Exposing Powerful Lies is a channel focused on, okay, you guys can see it, focused on analyzing debates, theology, philosophy, and contemporary socio-political issues. Known for meticulous and thought-provoking analysis, the channel aims to uncover and critique misleading narratives and deceptive arguments. It offers reviews breaking down complex arguments and highlighting logical inconsistencies to educate viewers and promote critical thinking and intellectual honesty. The channel frequently covers subjects involving figures like Jay Dyer, providing comprehensive insights. Additionally, it engages the audience through regular live streams and interactive discussions, fostering a community of critical thinkers who actively participate and share their perspectives. EPL stands out for its commitment to rational discourse, transparency, and fostering a well-informed, critically engaged audience. Its positive qualities include intellectual rigor, community engagement, and a dedication to challenging deceptive narratives. ChatGPT. So that's my new bio. Pretty a lot better than what I had there previously. So it's like, screw it, I'm going to use it. But that outro was so cringe, I might take you up on that. I might actually use that. Thank you for joining us. Remember to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay true to your values. Oh, it's so bad, dude. What about the Trump Friday after next script? Well, we're going to get to it, brother. We're going to get to it. Don't worry. We're not done yet. It's August says, interesting exercise. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I thought it was fun. And, you know, I was like, this would be fun to do for a stream. So, yeah, that's why I'm glad you like it, brother. So then I asked it to add the part about is Trump controlled opposition or not? So it said, certainly, here's an in-depth segment discussing the evidence and possibilities that Trump could be controlled opposition and a tool of the deep state and globalist power structure. This segment will provide evidence and examples for and against this possibility, ensuring a balanced and factual perspective. So here you go, guys. For all y'all that are on the side of he is controlled opposition, let's see if ChatGPT can give us some insight into whether he is or is not. Love critical thinking. These forums are the only ones with people smart enough for it. Dude, it's like everybody, I think, is smart enough for critical thinking. It's just that we've been so conditioned out of it. You know, we've been educated through our formal education systems. Instead of learning how to analyze, it teaches us how to regurgitate, how to take in data and information, not analyze it, and just spit it back out. And like that's sort of, you know, I think humans in their natural state, even like the dullest, you know, peasant is able to like critically analyze information. You know, hey, he's lying to me. You know, that like basic thing about humans. It's like it's been conditioned out of us. So definitely, I think right now, this day and age, like we need to, as individuals, emphasize self-education and teaching ourselves how to think. Hello and welcome to a special edition of Exposing Powerful Lies, where we cut through the noise, get to the truth behind the headlines. I'm your host, Your Name Here. Today we're diving deep into a controversial and thought-provoking topic. Could Donald Trump himself be controlled opposition and a tool of the deep state and globalist power structure? We'll explore the evidence and possibilities from both perspectives. Let's get started. Segment 1, Controlled Opposition, the concept. The term controlled opposition refers to a situation where dissenting leaders or movements are covertly supported or controlled by the very establishment that they claim to oppose. This strategy can be used to channel public dissent into harmless directions, monitor and control the opposition, or to give the illusion of democratic choice. Then we have a graphic on screen explaining controlled opposition. Donald Trump has positioned himself as a populist outsider, fighting against the entrenched political establishment. However, there are arguments and evidence that suggest he could be playing a role as a controlled opposition. Let's examine this possibility. Your Name Here is fire. Yeah. Lies are the worst, bro. Yo, tell me about it, man. We're here to expose these powerful lies, dog. For real, for real. They're so bad. All right. Firstly, let's look at the evidence and arguments supporting the idea that Trump could be controlled opposition. Number 1, connections to establishment figures. Despite his anti-establishment rhetoric, Trump has had long-standing relationships with key establishment figures. For instance, he has been associated with prominent Democrats and Republicans, including the Clintons. In 2005, Trump and his wife Melania attended Hillary Clinton's wedding to her daughter, Chelsea. Yo, ChatGPT, not to critique you here, but the way you wrote that, it made it sound like Hillary was getting married to her own daughter. I get what it's trying to say, but it attended Hillary Clinton's wedding to her daughter, Chelsea. You know, it's not perfect, guys. We got to edit it up a little bit, you know. It's just a springboard. Graphic showing Trump standing with the Clintons. Number 2, cabinet appointments. During his presidency, Trump appointed several figures with deep ties to the establishment and globalist institutions. Notable appointments include former Goldman Sachs executives like Steve Mnuchin as Treasury Secretary and Gary Cohn as Director of the National Economic Council. Clip of Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn. Number 3, policy continuities. While Trump has implemented some policies that challenge the status quo, many of his actions have continued or even reinforced existing power structures. For example, the continuation of military interventions abroad and increased defense spending align with long-standing establishment policies. Graphic comparing defense spending under Trump and previous administrations. Number 4, support for mainstream media outlets. Despite his frequent attacks on the fake news media, Trump received significant coverage from mainstream media outlets during his 2016 campaign. Some argue that this coverage, even if negative, provided him with a platform and visibility that helped his campaign. Clip showing extensive media coverage of Trump during 2016. Segment: Evidence against Trump as controlled opposition. Now let's examine the evidence and arguments against the idea that Trump is controlled opposition. Hostility from the establishment. Trump has faced significant opposition and hostility from the political establishment, including members of both major parties. This includes 2 impeachments, numerous investigations, constant media scrutiny, and also a bullet to the head. Number 2, policy breaks with establishment norms. Trump's policies on immigration, trade, and deregulation have significantly deviated from establishment norms. His administration's hard stance on immigration, withdrawal from international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, and trade wars with China were substantial departures from previous administrations. Graphic showing key policy changes. Support from grassroots movements. Trump has garnered strong support from grassroots movements and ordinary Americans who feel disenfranchised by their political system. This support is often seen as genuine and indicative of his outsider status. Support from like the Tea Party or like the Ron Paul guys. Clip of Trump rallies. Doo-doo-doo. Impact on globalist agendas. Number 4. Trump's America First policies and skepticism towards international institutions like the United Nations and NATO have been viewed as a direct challenge to globalist agendas. His administration's focus on national sovereignty and economic nationalism contrasts sharply with globalist ideals. Graphic comparing the globalist and nationalist policies. Segment: Weighing the evidence. Given the evidence, the question remains, is Donald Trump a genuine outsider challenging the establishment, or is he controlled opposition? The arguments on both sides are compelling, and it's essential to consider the broader context. Graphic showing a balanced scale with evidence for and against. While Trump has taken actions that challenge the establishment, his connections to establishment figures and continuation of certain policies do raise questions. Conversely, the significant opposition he faces and his departure from many establishment norms suggests a genuine challenge to the status quo. Conclusion: as with many complex political issues, the truth may lie somewhere in between. It's possible that Trump represents a mix of genuine dissent and establishment influence. As informed citizens, it's crucial to critically evaluate all information and remain vigilant against manipulation from any side. Clip summarizing key points discussed. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Exposing Powerful Lies. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay true to your values. Until next time, I'm your name here, and this has been Exposing Powerful Lies. Outro music and graphics. There you go, guys. There you go. So that's the freaking what up, Grant? Good to see you, brother. That's the Exposing Powerful Lies ChatGPT episode. What do you guys think? Can I retire now? Can I kick my feet up and just let them do it? I don't know. I mean, it was close enough, dude. It's close enough. You know, you are a little lacking on the graphics, Jared. Yo, for real, dude. For real. Honestly, I wish that it would like generate the graphics because that would add so much humor to it. Thanks, your name here. I appreciate it. God bless Mela. Why do the idiots in Washington want to hate Russia so much? It's literally 1984, dude. It's literally they need a boogeyman, right? Like, one of the most revealing things was when Tucker did the interview with Putin, and he basically said, like, when the Soviet Union collapsed, like, all of Russia thought, like, okay, we're going to be a part of the West now. Like, we're going to be a friend. We're going to be the UK. We're going to be, you know, Europe. We're going to be a friend to Russia or to United States. We're going to be trading. We're all going to be prosperous together. And every time they would come to the table, the presidents would be like, yeah, we could probably do that. And then they go home, and the intelligence agencies tell them, no. No, you're absolutely not going to make friends with Russia. No, you're absolutely not going to make, you know, good trade deals. You're not going to make a better relationship. They're over there. We're over here. They're them, and we are us. And he's like, you should ask your government why that is. Because we had multiple times where we went to the table, and we actually thought we were going to be welcomed at the table, and they made it clear we were not welcome at the table. That's pretty revealing, dude. That's pretty revealing. They need a boogeyman. They need somebody to be the person that, or the group that they use to scare the populace to make a potential world war with, like they're doing now, in order to help their control. So it's extremely revealing. I wish I could say I need a jacket. That'd be real nice right about now. Dude, it's so hot today, man. And I'm freaking dying. I got a fan right next to me. I'm not wearing my beanie, my trademark EPL beanie, because it's too hot, dude. It's too hot. But yeah, I think that's very revealing. They don't want peace. They don't want peace with Russia, certainly. They want to use it as leverage, as a card to play in crucial election years, in case anybody challenges their power. God only knows what they're going to do before this election in terms of Russia, China, Iran, all that stuff. After Trump got shot, of course they blame it on Iran, who is the nation they want to go to war with. Netanyahu just says, if they kill Trump, I hope the United States will level Iran. What the frick, dude? What the actual frick? Tucker came to the conclusion it's because they are embracing orthodoxy. Yeah. Well, yeah, he did make it like a spiritual thing, for sure. Every country the Washington regime wars against is not under their central banks, literally looting and pillaging the world into submission and assimilation. Exactly. Jason gets it, dude. Jason gets it. Yeah, guys, I thought it was a very revealing conversation. And of course, most people are like, that was so boring. That was so boring. Like, they expected Putin to pander to, like, right-wingers in America. Like, he don't care about your politics, bro. He cares about Russia. Like, he's not gonna come out and pander to us, you know. But he revealed a lot in that conversation. It was immensely fascinating. It was immensely revealing, and just the contrast between a brilliant mind and a bumbling buffoon as our leader at the time was revealing. Yeah, I saw that Tucker interview, quite revealing. Yeah, agreed. Looking for a new budget phone? Well, I hope you get it, brother. Net and Yahoo. Yo, I'm over here with Net and Yahoo. Yo, what? That was a ridiculous. That was like one of those days where I was like, "Is this real? Is this the real world we're living in? Like, what is going on, dude? We got Kanye West, Alex Jones, just like Nick. What is happening in this world, dude?" Tucker took JRE out as top pod on Earth yesterday. I saw that, dude. I saw that. Yep. He's been doing good interviews, dude. Say what you will about the guy. I mean, again, like I said the other day, Trump, Tucker, Joe Rogan, these are all people that I look at and I can just read them like an open book, or I feel like I can. I don't expect them to be totally honest. I don't expect them to know everything, but you can see where they're coming from. You can see why they come to the conclusions they do, and I like that. I like a person who is intellectually honest, who makes themselves clear and sort of vulnerable in that way so that you can see where they're coming from, and you can, take what's good and leave what's bad. You can learn things from their perspective. And so I find Tucker's podcast super interesting, and like the conversation he had with Jack Posobiec. I don't know jack squat about Posobiec. I've heard lots of things from him and about him over the years, and I'm sure just anytime I see anybody like that, I'm like, okay, you already know there's like a trough of like bad stuff that people will, like, just me bringing up that name, I'm sure a bunch of people in the chat are going to be like, but he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. I'm sure he is, but that was an interesting conversation, right? They had. I know nothing about his background. The guy could very well be whatever. I don't know. Learning about Gaddafi was wild. Learning how it all goes down. Exactly. It's the same story over and over again, dude. Tucker's last 2 months of interviews have been great. Candace Owens has been blowing my mind lately. She's pretty cool. I haven't seen any of her recent stuff. I obviously saw her when all that controversy went down around the anti-Semitism and that, like, rabbi or whatever who was, like, attacking her and all that stuff. So that, good for her, man. She's actually visiting Buffalo either soon or just recently, because I saw a poster when we were driving down the road with her face on it. She was visiting like a university, or she was giving a lecture or a speech somewhere. But yeah, she's definitely going hard for sure. I got to check out more of her stuff. Poso was impressive in that interview. Agreed. And I've been seeing him a lot on InfoWars. I've been seeing him a lot on the AJ show. And, in general, like, I appreciate his perspective. I agree with sort of where he's coming from. He is Roman Catholic, so at least he does see things in a spiritual sort of way, but it's also like he's Roman Catholic, so it's like, he's not gonna have the full thing. Did y'all see JBP on Rogan with Panagia on his blazer? I did. I watched 3/4 of that interview, and it made me put my hand in my face, or my face in my hand the whole time. And I'm like, leave it to Joe Rogan to take a perfectly good conversation that could be had and turn it into DMT, bro. Mushrooms, bro. Yo, but like, what if like mushrooms though, dude? Yo, like that's cool. Like Christian stuff, like that's cool. But like, bro, you ever think like maybe it was all just about like them smoking DMT? You ever think about that? Like pretty deep stuff, bro. Like that jacket, you know, iconography. That's cool. But like, you ever try mushrooms, dude? Like it's like, dude, like, why are you such a dumb ape, bro? Like, it was a good conversation. There were parts of it that were cool or whatever, but it just makes me sad when you see people at that place because that's such like a juvenile place to be at. Um, it's like, dude, like you've been doing this, Joe, for so long. You've been having this perspective for so long. The DMT bro thing, it's become a meme. It's like, and I appreciate the way that he's sort of opening up more to hearing this stuff, but like, man, dude, man, it's kind of frustrating. You're like, I just wish that he would like actually examine the stuff because you could see by what he was saying, he still thinks of faith and Christianity, Christian faith as a superstition. And he even said to him when JBP had said about the cross, he was trying to explain to him sort of the cross in the Jordan Peterson way. Um, he was like, yeah, but most people don't. I don't think like anybody thinks about the cross like that. I think they just think like, oh, the cross. Jesus was on the cross. I have faith. Praise Jesus. That's like literally verbatim what he said. It's like, bro, like how are you so ignorant, dude? No Christians have ever thought about the cross and what it actually signifies and what it actually represents. Most people just say praise Jesus. Like, yeah, those are the Christians that you know, Joe, that you've experienced. But maybe you could, be open to learning what actual Christians think about these things. God bless him. I hope he goes further. I hope he figures it out. And yeah, it was cool to see him have the conversation. The day after, I think it might have been today or yesterday, I just got a notification that Joe had some guy on. I'll pull it up right now. He had some guy on, some old boomer Christian guy on. It's Alan Graham. Again, know nothing about this guy. I just read the description. It said he's the CEO of Mobile Loaves and Fishes, a Christian social outreach ministry that provides food and clothing, cultivates community, and promotes dignity to homeless men and women in need. He also is the host of the Gospel Con Carne podcast and author of Welcome Homeless, One Man's Journey of Discovering the Meaning of Home. So it sounds like Protestant nonsense, but it's also kind of interesting that he's having a Christian on to have a discussion. Haven't watched it yet, but hopefully it leads him down the right path, man. Again, what? He's not, but that guy's not Orthodox Christian. How could you say that? Because I wasn't an Orthodox Christian at one point in my life. I was listening to Protestant nonsense in my life, Roman Catholic stuff. It's like we walk down these paths, and, that sort of faith, that sort of perspective to view the Christian narrative, the Christian faith through, could be the thing that breaks his sort of preconceived notions about it that would then open him up to learning more to eventually find the true faith. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say, right? And that's different than the sort of ecumenism idea that like, oh, it's all leading to the same thing. I'm just saying God uses all things to enact providence. He used occultism in my experience to eventually lead me to the church. So I can't sit here and judge and assume to know where this stuff is going to lead him, but I hope that it leads him to the truth, honestly. Hope Joe will find God without the use of hallucinations. Yeah, I would hope so. And Jordan even pressed him on it. He's like, why are you so concerned with psychedelics? He's like, what is the reason, do you think, in your life that you're so fixated on psychedelics? And he's like, because I think they've been suppressed, and I think that they might be the key to human evolution. And God bless him. God bless him, man. Ay, ay, ay. Anyone see the latest Royal Path? Always great, but I thought it was a very good episode. I still got to watch that one. Love the Royal Path. One of my favorite podcasts. So good, dude. So good. And Father Turbo's got great takes on all this stuff. And of course, he comes more from the sort of perspective of like That's what I get from his previous their previous conversations around politics and Trump and all this stuff is they've placed an emphasis on the Trump saying he's never asked God for forgiveness. Hang on. Is JBP like a catechumen now? No, he's just learned a lot about Christianity from Jonathan Pajot, but he doesn't seem to be fully in. He's like loving what he's learning about the biblical corpus, as he says, and the biblical narratives, as he calls them. But he's definitely not a catechumen, I don't think, as far as I know. And that jacket he's got isn't just Orthodox iconography. It's Orthodox, he said he's got 3, Orthodox, Protestant, and Roman Catholic jackets. And he's got one jacket with 3 of them. He said something like that in the interview. So I don't think he's like full-on Orthodox. You know what I'm saying? Jason, I'm not Orthodox, but I'm looking at it. I grew up in a Protestant church. Nice. So did I. I grew up in a Protestant church. I grew up in a Roman Catholic school for a while, for about 4 or 5 years. So I ran through the whole gamut. So good for you, brother. It's good. I'm glad you know about Orthodox and you're looking into it. Yeah, I don't think JBP is fully Orthodox at all. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. Rogan's just got to get there, and how he get there don't matter. Oh, I was talking about Royal Path. Right, so like they were talking before about Trump and how, the things he said were like anti-Christian, right? It's the opposite. And they definitely are like putting an emphasis on, like I heard Father Turbo say recently, like whenever somebody unites under a banner that isn't Christ, there's problems. I would agree with that, right? I would agree with that. There's potential problems that come from that. But at the same time, like we all are united under different things many different times throughout our lives. Like we all pay taxes, that unites us. When we go to school, like we're united under that, right? We all have the same shared experience there, and that sort of unites us. And anytime that we unite as people, right, and we join a group, and it's not Christ is the center, is the sort of head of that group, I can totally see where he's coming from. With that being said, I don't think simply voting for a person that you think is the better of the 2 options is uniting under a banner, right? I'm not saying we should go and join a freaking movement. I'm not saying we should go and join a militia, or we should go and like be at Trump rallies and rah, rah, rah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think that this person is going to do damage to the establishment, do damage to the globalist agenda, possibly, potentially, maybe. He certainly could. Whereas the other side, if they win, will not. At all. Period. No chance of it. So that's my pragmatic view. That's it, really, to put it as simply as possible. That's my view of it. This person might actually do damage to the establishment. This person, this group, this entity, this deep state certainly will not. And we know where they're going to bring us. We know where our government is going to lead. We have a good idea of where we'll be headed if he doesn't win. So that's my position. I'm not uniting under the banner of Trump. I'm not saying that I'm a Trump guy, Trump supporter, Trump rally. I'm just saying that's the one I'm voting for. I think it's pretty obvious why I am and why I think people should actually use their vote and vote against the establishment. Period. So I don't actually disagree with what I've heard from the Royal Path in terms of their critiquing of what he's saying, their critiquing of the sort of general Trump supporter, Trump cult of personality type. I'm in full agreement of that. I'm in full agreement of the critiques of that. And that is just one more cult of personality, one more sort of distraction and trap that people can fall into, where we idolize a person and we think that they're like better than they are. And, like if you ask like the average Trump supporter, like, is he a Christian? They'd probably be like, yeah, he is, man. He's like a Christian. It's like, I don't think anybody can say he is for sure. Hopefully this experience with the shooter made him open his eyes a little bit as to his mortality, as to the severity of the situation in this country. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. That's between him and God as far as I'm concerned. That's between him and God. That's his life. That's his soul. And God never leaves any stone unturned when he's seeking somebody's salvation. He never stops reaching out to a person. He could live a life and at the deathbed come to Christ. I pray that at the very least that will happen. But that, again, is not my business. It's not my position to sit here and critique whether or not he's a Christian or a true Christian or whether he's saved or whether he's damned. All I know is he's the person in the position that could actually win, that could actually have a positive impact on us and our families. And it's that simple. It's that simple. So that's where I'm at. That's where I see it. And I think that that's a pretty obvious, pretty like common sense view of it. Okay. So now I think that's all of the stuff that I had pulled up. So we could sort of mess around with this a little bit more, or we could wrap it up. Up to you guys. Anybody have any ideas that they want to punch in to our little genie in a bottle, Jessica frickin' whatever her name is? What genie in a bottle? What the hell is that girl? Christina Aguilera. Anybody got any questions or anything they want to troll ChatGPT with? I'm on my journey of better understanding, I hope. Maybe that's why I was drawn here. It very probably is. If you're here, I'm sure that you are aware of other channels that are much better than I at explaining and elucidating the Orthodox faith. And so I hope you just keep looking, dude. Keep looking. And honestly, if you want some friendly advice from Jerry here, you should go visit an Orthodox liturgy. You should just go. Like tomorrow is Sunday. Go on Google Maps, type in Russian Orthodox Church or Orthodox Church. Find the one nearest you. Make sure it's canonical. Make sure it's Russian, Greek, Serbian, Antiochian, right? American. Make sure it's an actual Orthodox church. Sunday, go, visit the liturgy, and just experience it. Be great. That's my advice to you. You don't have to be Orthodox to go. You don't have to be convinced to go. But check it out, because that's what Orthodoxy is. It's the lived experience. It's more than the idea. It's more than a book you read or an opinion you have. It's the actual lived experience of the liturgy. So hopefully you will do that. And yeah, one second. I'm going to hit the mute button. Got people coming through, so I'm just going to mute it real quick. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I just wanted to mute the mic for a minute. Just don't wear shorts. What are we talking about? I'm out. What's up, Block Party Vintage? Good to see you, homie. Pre-sup that bitch. That's what I'm saying, dude. Get into a debate with GPY. You folks definitely resonate with me. Well, we're all just people, brother. We're all people, and we're all, most of us here are Orthodox Christians united under Christ. And then he'll be Trump 1, emperor and autocrat of the American autocephalous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys, that's all I got right now. I guess I could try to think of some funny ways to troll ChatGPT here. Let's say, let's see. Man, it's just hard to think of stuff like right on the spot like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, what did you say, John Connor? You want plot overview of Trump starring in a sequel to Friday After Next? Is that what you said, dude? We don't mess with the West Side. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna wait for John to comment here. I want to hear. Hope to see you around Chats, Jason English. Study of Stuff channel on Sunday evening is great. Yeah. I've been talking to that guy about possibly doing a collaboration at some point. So yeah, we might be doing a Study of Stuff crossover. I haven't checked out like his content at all, but his stuff has been popping up on my feed a lot, and a lot of people have told me he's a good guy, and so I'm gonna probably do something with that guy soon. Paris Olympics opening, yeah. What about the Paris Olympics opening? That is demonic as hail, dude. Demonic as hail. Okay, all right. Let me punch it in here, John, and we'll see what happens here. Write me a plot overview of a movie sequel to Friday, but include Donald Trump as a main protagonist. There you go. Is that good enough, John? Should I change it a little bit? Study of Stuff Sunday night, every single week. Oh, every single week. The chat is like, why isn't Jerry here? Oh man. Okay, I'll do it. So you said it's at 8 o'clock. Let me look at your comment before here. I'll find it. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll definitely hop into the chat next time he's live, and I'll check it out. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We're trying to figure out sort of like what the topic's gonna be like or whatever, what we're gonna talk about. But it's tough because I've never seen his stuff, so it's like I feel bad. I don't want to just like come on and be like, hey, I have no idea what you're about. I got no idea what you do. So yeah, I'll do a little research beforehand. All right. All right. John says yes. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is retarded, dude. I want to do more like actual real stuff. Try to get it to talk about sort of more conspiracy stuff. But this is fun. We could try this a little bit. Okay. So the title is Friday 2, the next chapter. Opening scene. The movie opens with a flashback to the original Friday film, showing brief highlights of Craig, Ice Cube, and Smokey, Chris Tucker, wild day in South Central Los Angeles. The scene transitions to present day with Craig now working a steady job, while Smokey has moved out of the neighborhood and has started his own business. Introducing Donald Trump. In a surprising twist, we find that former President Donald Trump has recently bought a series of properties in South Central Los Angeles as part of a community redevelopment project. Trump has made it his mission to revitalize the neighborhood, bringing new businesses, housing, and opportunities to the area. I wonder if they're going to make Trump the I guess I told it to make him a protagonist. So I'm just wondering if they're going to make him like the villain, the antagonist, but I guess they have to make him the protagonist because, you know. We need Jerry in the Spooniverse. See, I have no idea what that even means. I gotta check up on this. All right. The problem. Craig, now a respected community figure, is initially skeptical of Trump's involvement. Rumors circulate that Trump's development plans include displacing longtime residents. Craig decides to confront Trump directly. The first meeting. Craig and Trump meet at a community town hall where Trump outlines his vision for the neighborhood. Craig is surprised by Trump's genuine interest in community improvement but remains cautious. Trump, noticing Craig's influence, asks him to join his advisory board to ensure the development benefits the community. Craig reluctantly agrees, hoping to keep an eye on Trump and protect his neighbors. Oh my goodness, dude, this is so lame. This is so retarded, dude. Oh, man. Okay, where are we? The conflict. As Craig starts working with Trump, they uncover a corrupt city councilman, Lester Wright, portrayed by a well-known actor, who has been embezzling funds meant for community projects and sabotaging redevelopment efforts for personal gain. Craig and Trump realize they must work together to expose Wright and ensure the neighborhood's future. The team-up. Trump brings in his resources while Craig enlists the help of Smokey, who returns to the neighborhood with his entrepreneurial spirit. The trio, along with other beloved characters from the original film, devise a plan to gather evidence against Wright. Comedy and hijinks. The movie features plenty of comedic moments and hijinks reminiscent of the original Friday. Smokey's antics provide comedic relief, especially when he tries to teach Trump how to blend in with the local culture. There are scenes of Trump awkwardly participating in neighborhood traditions, attempting to navigate Smokey's crazy schemes, and learning from Craig's street smart wisdom. Dude, what is this, John? What is this, bro? I'm just picturing Trump like shooting craps on the corner or like freaking breakdancing or something. The climax. In a dramatic climax, Craig, Smokey, and Trump present their findings at a city council meeting. With compelling evidence and a powerful speech from Trump about the importance of community and integrity, they manage to expose Wright's corruption. The community rallies behind them, and Wright is arrested. Resolution. With Wright out of the picture, Trump's redevelopment project moves forward, but with Craig's oversight ensuring it respects the community's needs. The neighborhood begins to thrive, blending new opportunities with preservation of its cultural heritage. Craig and Trump develop a mutual respect, with Craig realizing that sometimes unexpected allies can make a big difference. Closing scene. The film closes with a big community celebration. Craig, Smokey, and Trump stand together, watching the festivities. Smokey makes a humorous comment about Trump trying to dance, and they all share a laugh together. The camera pans out, showing the vibrant and united neighborhood, setting the stage for future stories of growth and camaraderie. Themes, community and integrity, highlighting the importance of working together for the common good. Unexpected alliances, showing that people from different backgrounds can come together and achieve great things. Comedy and heart, maintaining the comedic and heartfelt essence of the original Friday film. By blending the beloved characters and humor of the original Friday with the unexpected addition of Donald Trump, Friday 2, the next chapter, offers a fresh and entertaining take on community empowerment and unlikely friendships. Well, that was kind of heartwarming. Yeah, crowns in the chat for John. That was a good idea. Yeah, what neighborhood traditions? That's what I'm saying too, dude. I mean, we shooting craps. I mean, how criminal are these traditions? I want to know how heartwarming, right? And what's the word? Wholesome are they, or how like street are they? Well, thank you for the idea, John. That was funny. All right. Well, I guess that's it then, because I'm not really sure where to take what to ask. I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit more on my own and sort of see what I come up with, and I'll definitely yes, that's a long honored pastime of the street. Cringe, dude, for real, for real. But yeah, I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit more on my own as time goes on, and whatever. But I had fun with it, and I think at the very least we were able to have a pretty good conversation. And yeah, so remember, guys, I'm just a slow boy. I'm just giving you my perspective. And as I said, I'm always open to be corrected. I'm always open to have differing opinions. If you are the exact opposite of me, if you like are coming from a whole different perspective, you think I'm wrong, you think I'm naive, you think I'm whatever, like I'm open to that, dude. I won't get mad. I won't jump at you. Like we gotta be better at having civic discourse about these things. Like really, because it's the environment is so much at this point now where you can't. It's like you gotta be worried. Like very cautious to even attempt to discuss with somebody, especially online, because people are just so friggin' like tense around talking about this stuff. Ask it to be more of a gangster plot, like a mix of Titanic and Goodfellas. I could try. I could try. I don't know if you guys want me to read through the whole thing, but I could try. Okay, make it more of a gangster style plot. Something more akin to Goodfellas. And then what else did he say? And a mix of Titanic and Goodfellas. Something more akin to a mix of Titanic. I'm confused with your edition of Titanic there. Titanic and Goodfellas. All right, let's try it out. Now it's called now it's called Friday 2 High Stakes. All right. All right. Good stuff. All right, let's see what it's got for us here. The movie opens with a gritty montage of South Central Los Angeles, showing the stark contrast between the bustling street life and the encroaching threat of gentrification. Craig, Ice Cube, is now a well-respected figure in the community running a small but successful business. Smokey has turned his life around and is managing a thriving cannabis dispensary. Donald Trump, he's a powerful real estate mogul with a notorious reputation. He has bought up significant properties with the pretense of redevelopment, but his real plan, is to build a luxurious casino and resort, pushing out longtime residents and businesses. Okay, so now we got Donnie T as the bad guy. All right. Craig and Smokey quickly realize that Trump's redevelopment plans threaten their neighborhood's very fabric. They gather the community to resist, but Trump's connections run deep, and his security detail, led by a ruthless enforcer named Vinny, played by a famous action star. Like who? Like I can't think Vinny being played by Schwarzenegger. I thought I was gonna say Vinny is played by like what's his name? Pesci, right? Played by Joe Pesci in his prime. Ensures compliance through intimidation and violence. The setup. Craig and Smokey, determined to protect their home, devise a daring plan. They know they can't fight Trump and his henchmen head on, so they decide to infiltrate his inner circle. Smokey uses his charm and street smarts to get close to Trump's operation, while Craig gathers intelligence and builds alliances with other community leaders and rival gang members who also oppose Trump's plans. The heist plan. Nice. Inspired by classic gangster films, Craig and Smokey plan a heist to steal critical documents and money that could cripple Trump's operation. They aim to expose his illegal dealings and corrupt connections. They enlist the help of Big Worm. They enlist the help of Big Worm, a local drug lord with a grudge against Trump for encroaching on his territory, and Debbie, who has become a savvy political activist. The plan is fraught with danger. Craig and Smokey navigate a world of high stakes, dealing with gangsters, corrupt officials, and Trump's formidable security. The tension mounts as they gather the necessary tools and allies, each step drawing them deeper into a dangerous game. The climax of the film is an elaborate heist, reminiscent of Goodfellas and Ocean's 11. Craig, Smokey, and their team infiltrate Trump's newly built casino during its grand opening. The scenes are a mix of suspenseful break-ins, clever disguises, and tense encounters. They manage to steal the documents and a significant amount of cash, but not without a thrilling chase and shootout with Vinny and his men. The revelation. With the stolen evidence, Craig and Smokey expose Trump's illegal activities to the media and law enforcement. The community rallies behind them, and the revelation leads to multiple arrests of Trump's associates and a halt to the casino project. Trump, however, manages to escape the immediate legal consequences, setting the stage for a potential future showdown. Oh, he can't keep getting away with it, dude. Resolution. The film ends on a hopeful, yet cautious note. The community celebrates their victory, but Craig and Smokey know that their fight is far from over. They have disrupted a powerful enemy, but Trump's shadow looms large. The closing scene shows Craig and Smokey vowing to continue protecting their neighborhood, hinting at their readiness for future battles. Their themes are community versus corruption, loyalty and brotherhood, cunning over brute force, style and tone, gritty and realistic, a dark, intense atmosphere with high stakes, action, and suspense, gangster elements, epic drama, a Titanic-esque scale with the fate of the community hanging in the balance. Friday 2, High Stakes, blends the beloved characters and humor of the original Friday with the intense, high-stakes drama of a gangster film, creating a thrilling and emotionally charged sequel. Trump's shadow looms huge. Biggest shadow ever. Kind of accurate. Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of hard. Yeah, that's kind of hard. Big worm. Westfoot. What's up, Mr. Westfoot? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. All right, y'all. I think we did it, bro. I think we did it. I think we scared off enough of the audience. Hopefully we made as many people unsubscribe as possible from the channel. And I hope you guys have a great one. I hope you guys get to liturgy tomorrow. And I think that's it, y'all. If you guys got any ideas you want to send my way, feel free to reach out. If you guys want to talk about anything, feel free to reach out over on Instagram. You can always find me over there. And if you can, like and share, all that stuff. Thank you all so much for being here. And dislike and unsubscribe, exactly. Till next time, Lily Walk signing off. Thank you guys. Peace out, brothers and sisters. God bless. I'll see you later.